Welcome to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, where the fans have come to see the CFL teams that wear green. Last week was a great one for Don Matthews and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Keyed by the always precise passing of Ken Austin, the Riders defeated the Edmonton Eskimos. And in Edmonton, there are concerns for head coach Ron Lancaster, mainly about his quarterbacking. Tonight, Damon Allen looks to get on track as the Eskimos look for revenge on the CFL Live. They're double trouble. Saskatchewan slot backs Ray Elgard and Jeff Fairholm. These inside receivers give Saskatchewan the inside track. Fairholm has deceptive speed, one of the CFL's best deep threats. Elgard is great in traffic, one of the CFL's best ever clutch receivers.
I think that our styles complement each other really well, and the fact that Ray, me, and Kent have played together for the last 5-6 years has been nothing but an asset to our team.
He is Edmonton linebacker Willie Plass. The CFL's outstanding defensive player last season. Looking for Plass? Look for the football, because he won't be far away. He's a linebacker who loves to make hits and big plays.
Willie Plass is kind of the leader of our defense, and he does it by example, so we try to hide him. Don't let him line up in the same place. Let him run, make the plays on the run, which is his strength.
Tonight, double trouble meets a one-man gang at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The CFL Live on TSN is brought to you by Pepsi. Be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Mark's Work Warehouse, clothes that work. A day of intermittent showers has left this field here at Commonwealth Stadium a little soft, and the weatherman's saying there's a possibility of more showers tonight as the Saskatchewan Roughriders play the home-and-home series finale with the Edmonton Eskimos. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the CFL Live. I'm Gord Miller. The last 10 regular season meetings between these two teams have seen a total difference of just 3 points. And last week at Taylor Field, the difference was a Dave Ridgway field goal as Saskatchewan took the football game. So tonight, the Eskimos look for revenge in the final regular season meeting between these two teams, hoping to set the tone for a possible playoff meeting. Now, for more on the game, let's go upstairs to John Wells.
Surprise, surprise, a little quarterbacking controversy brewing in Edmonton. Damon Allen makes his third straight start tonight, despite the fact that many feel that Ricky Foggy has been more effective in a couple of relief appearances. But Allen remains #1 because he has more CFL experience, and Foggy is the reliever, and a great one according to Ron Lancaster.
Well, John, I don't think there should be any quarterbacking controversy in Edmonton. They've merely put together a good plan to define the playing times of 3 very talented quarterbacks. Either Tom Mickey or Damon Allen will always be the starting quarterback, and because of what John said, the experience factor, and I think either one of those quarterbacks can handle the intense media pressure here in Edmonton at being called the #1 or starting quarterback. For Ricky Foggy, he will always be #2. And I think that's a very good plan, because when he comes into the game, he gives the Eskimo offense a totally different look. He can run around, make the huge play, and more importantly, he needs to get some confidence back. Confidence that was lost last year, a year ago in Toronto. He is the quarterback of the future for Edmonton.
No doubt about who is the #1 quarterback in Saskatchewan. Ken Austin has held that distinction for the last 7 years. Live from Commonwealth, CFL Live. Second meeting in less than a week for the Eskimos and the Riders. Dave Ridgway kicked the game winner in Regina last Thursday. What will be the difference here tonight?
John, I think the difference in this game could be the play of #2, Henry the Gizmo Williams. And, over his career as a kick returner, 21 times he's been able to put the ball in the end zone. He always gives his offense great field position. And I think the difference in tonight's football game could be the kick returning abilities of Henry Williams.
Tonight's starting lineup brought to you by Speedy Auto Glass. Don't take a chance. Take your auto glass repairs and replacement to Speedy Auto Glass. Commonwealth. On the return, Doug Parrish slowed by the first man upfield and dropped near the 22. Quarterback Damon Allen admits that he has struggled in the first two games, but he isn't the only problem. Blake Marshall had 6 carries for 15 yards last week. Michael Souls 3 for 6. Outside receivers, Williams and Sandusky back for another year. And inside, former Argos Eddie Brown and D.K. Smith.
The only real change this year is the replacement of Pierre Vercheval at guard with Mike Dumaresque. And other than that change, pretty solid offensive line for the second year in a row.
1st and 10, and a penalty marker is down almost immediately. Not much running room to the far side as Eddie Brown got the call. Stopped by Donaldson. Procedure call against the Eskimos.
Illegal procedure, no end on the offense. The penalty is declined. Second down.
On defense, the Roughriders had 3 sacks last week in Regina. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. Out across the 20 at the 22. Allen looks to the far side and fires back to Sandusky. Roughriders have one new performer up front defensively. Sean Brantley making his first start in the CFL for the injured Gary Lewis. 3 new starting linebackers in '93, including Brian Bonner, who played well for Ottawa last year, and Maurice Crum.
Change of note in the secondary. Barry Wilburn will start, 5-year veteran of the National Football League with the Washington Redskins, and the 4 remain the same from a week ago.
After a 15-yard gain, first down, Michael Souls, number 32, got the call.
Bobby Jefferson among the
Souls in his 5th year out of McGill.
Stu Hill helping out.
Part of an all-Canadian backfield. 7 touchdowns through his CFL career.
Yeah, those are his career numbers, but last year was certainly his best year, rushing and receiving just slightly under 1,000 yards, so you know he would like to pick up where he left off a year ago.
Gain of 4 on 2nd and 6. This is Eddie Brown. Brown has some room to the near side. Finally forced out by Glenn Suter.
Yeah, I think so. Re-racked it.
26 yards, and Brown shaken up on the sideline.
Here's Eddie Brown lined up in the slot back. Well, I think he's the biggest addition from that big trade, but as the linebackers and everybody clear out, Saskatchewan plays a lot of zone. He wants to just come underneath that coverage, and that's what Damon Allen is going to have to do a lot tonight. There you see underneath, and he has lots of running room. Easy pass to complete, and that's what Edmonton has to do tonight.
Couple of big games for the Eskimos. Allen has a first down. Down to the 25. Snuder in on the tackle once more. 17 yards as the Eskimo drive continues.
You know, John, what was surprising to me when I looked at Damon Allen's career statistics was only 1 year in his entire career was he over 1,000 yards rushing. And, of course, that was back in 1991 when he was with the Ottawa Roughriders. But what a dimension he can add to this offense if he decides to do that a lot.
First down for Edmonton. This is Souls again. He has at least 5 yards down near the 20-yard line of the Roughriders. A great opening drive for the Eskimos, who have struggled on offense during the first couple of weeks of the season.
Well, I think they've struggled because they just simply haven't had their rushing game going. You know, last year they averaged about 140 yards a game on the ground, and so far in 2 games already this year, only about 57 yards a game, and that's a lot of missed yardage from 1 year ago.
2nd and 5, Eskimos at the Roughrider 25. This is the opening drive, and this is Henry Williams. Williams scoots to the end zone. Second touchdown of the year for Gizmo as a receiver.
Well, this is the added dimension that Henry Williams gives you. If you can get him the ball quickly, as they do here, I mean, that's an easy pass to complete. He adds the other dimension of the tremendous running ability, and none of the Saskatchewan Roughrider defenders can stay with him, and a very impressive opening drive for the Edmonton Eskimos.
Sean Fleming makes it 7-0 for the Eskimos. Henry Williams, a hero for this moment. Second touchdown reception of the year. Damon Allen engineered an impressive scoring drive the first time he had his hands on the football. And the Eskimos have a 7-0 lead on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 7 plays, 87 yards.
You know, John, before the game, I made a couple of notes to myself as to what I thought the Edmonton offense had to do to play better. And 2 of those things were to make less mistakes. Well, they didn't make any mistakes on that opening drive. And second of all was to have Damon Allen play better. He had a great run. He threw the ball well on that opening drive. And when you do those things, it's easy to put a lot of yardage up on the board, and usually some points follow.
Couple of big plays, and the Eskimos hit the end zone with Henry Williams on a 20-yard reception from Damon Allen. 7-0 Edmonton early in a rematch of a great ball game at Taylor Field less than a week ago.
Well, it seemed like every game last week went to the final seconds and was decided with a kick.
Ridgway got the game-winning field goal for the Roughriders last week. And the reliever on the right of your screen is Ricky Foggy talking it over with Damon Allen. He doesn't need any help right now.
No, they call Ricky Foggy the fireman. That's what Ronnie Lancaster referred to him as we chatted this morning.
Sean Fleming. Deep kick. This is Ulmer. In his first game for the Roughriders, Terrell Ulmer gives Saskatchewan great field position. Quarterback Kent Austin passed for another 400 yards last week to beat the Eskimos by 1. The Riders don't run often. Mike Saunders had just 12 yards last week. Dan Farthing makes his second start as a running back. The heart of the Riders' offense still with 2 superb inside receivers in Elgard and Fairholm.
Yeah, and some changes this year on the offensive line. The Hendrickson brothers on the left side, and their biggest job is protect Kent Anderson.
Some early movement draws flags, and the pass incomplete.
I said Kent Anderson. Of course, I mean Kent Austin.
It's Mike Anderson, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
He's protecting Kent Austin.
That's right. It's a simple little mistake. Early movements from the Eskimo defense.
Offside, number 46 on the defense. First down repeated.
46 is a newcomer, Malvin Hunter.
Makes it 1st and 5. Riders ball on their own 40-yard
Hunter
line.
from the University of Wisconsin. 1st and 5 for Austin and the Roughriders now. Time to throw. Farthing was the intended receiver.
Austin pass over the head of Dan Farthing, incomplete.
Nose tackle Tony Woods is the only new Eskimo
Dan Murphy and Willie
up front. The key to this Eskimo defense remains Willie Pless, the CFL's top defensive player in 1992.
Saskatchewan ball on their own 40.
And the secondary, the same one that has started all 3 games for the Eskimos. 2 games, rather. Ed Barry, of course, coming over in the trade for the Argonauts, and he has really helped them out. That was a tough spot for Edmonton the last few years.
2nd and 5. Saunders slowed near the 45.
Saunders, the ball carrier, close for a first down. Glenn Rogers Jr. and Willie Quest teaming up for the tackle.
He ran into another newcomer in that Eskimo secondary, Glenn Rogers, number 26. That would be Glenn Rogers Jr.
I think you noticed in Saskatchewan's opening lineup tonight that they have Dan Farthing listed as a running back, and he will be a receiver. They have simply said, look, we're a passing team. We don't hide that fact, so we're going to go with 5 receivers, and Mike Saunders will be our only running back.
Saunders managed to pick up the first down. Not by much, but for Austin, the drive will continue. Eskimos lead it 7-0 on an impressive opening drive by Damon Allen, finished off with a 20-yard touchdown toss to Henry Williams. Austin Dumps a little screen pass over for Saunders, and he couldn't hang on.
Trying to get the screen pass to Mike Saunders incomplete. Don Wilson and Leroy Blue.
Saunders has great credentials as a receiver, although they didn't show there.
Saskatchewan, ball with the 45.
Well, he's got the whole package, as head coach Don Matthews likes to refer to him. Out of the backfield in the receiving department, already 12 receptions, 17 carries, only 3.5 yards rushing, but that's kind of misleading. They don't make their living running the football.
On 2nd and 10, Austin steps up and fires. Almost picked off. Guess was in the area, and I think he had the best opportunity.
Willie Pless is really going to get a workout tonight trying to cover across the field the two inside receivers. Ken Austin breaks containment. Now he's looking for Fairholm, and see the little bump that Willie Pless gave him just before he broke underneath, and he had the best chance to make that catch.
Saskatchewan with Brent Matich as the punter this week. High for Gizmo, standing near the 20. A penalty marker down, and Gizmo found a little seam. He's out near the 35. Met by Charles Anthony.
14-yard return tripped up by Dan Roughriders.
Eskimos with a 7-0 lead have possession again. Early at Commonwealth in Edmonton, the Giz has the game's only touchdown. It sets the Eskimos up with good field position here. On the sidelines, Saskatchewan linebacker Dan Rasevich is in pain, being attended to by the medical staff down there. He was injured on the previous play, and there were flags down. An illegal block by the Eskimos, no yards against Saskatchewan, so it'll be first down for Edmonton at the 35. Don Matthews, in his second full season as head coach of the Roughriders. His first game was at Commonwealth when he came to take over this team, and he won.
It's a nice way to start.
And your old teammate Ronnie Lancaster in his third year as head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Biggest news, I think, for Ron Lancaster in the offseason, acquiring Adam Rita as his offensive coordinator, who is up in the booth a couple down from us tonight, and he is in charge of the offense. Ronnie gets a little input every once in a while, but I think that is a huge change for Edmonton and a change for the better.
This is Henry Williams once more, a little Statue of Liberty play that worked well for about a 9-yard gain. Charles Anthony over to make the tackle. They want to get the ball to the Giz.
I think one of the things you're going to see tonight, now watch for Henry Williams. Here he is in the backfield, and he'll just spin around and come on the Statue of Liberty play, but that's something that Edmonton is going to try and do, is get Eddie Brown and Henry Williams in that backfield and create some mismatches and problems for that Saskatchewan defense. You know,
they call it a gain of 9.
You know, they've got the two big backs in there, Souls and Marshall, and I think this is one of the ways to get a little extra speed in there.
Penalty marker is down as Blake Marshall has enough yardage for a first down, and easily so.
Well, Dan Rasevich in a lot of pain on the Saskatchewan sideline, has what we're told is a dislocated finger, which doesn't sound too bad, except it looks like a corkscrew right now, and it's causing him a lot of pain.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Eskimos.
Eskimos 1st and 10, ball on the 39.
Ticat fans around here too.
Well, talk about a Washington developer wanting to buy that club and possibly moving it down the road.
Stuart Hill stopped Michael Souls.
One of the problems the Edmonton Eskimo offense has had this year is their second down conversions. Only 27% after 2 games, and really that's not normal for what they usually do. So tonight, I think it'd be interesting to see how much better they are able to perform on 2nd and long situations.
5-yard gain. This is 2nd and 5 for Damon Allen and the Eskimos. Darrell K. Smith has his first reception of the night. One of 2 Argo slot backs who joined the Eskimos in that 8-for-8 deal in the offseason.
Interestingly enough, 7 of the 8 Argos are in the Eskimo lineup tonight. 4 as starters.
I think there's no question that a change was as good as a rest for Daryl Smith. He'd been in Toronto for 6 years, and getting out to Edmonton, a new change of scenery has been very beneficial for him. And well, you look at their slot backs, Eddie Brown and Daryl Smith. I mean, that's a good pair. You talk about Fairholm and Elgard, but the guys in green are pretty good too.
Blake Marshall tries off tackle, looked to be slowed, but he bowled his way for a couple of yards after he ran into the Saskatchewan defense. Marshall had problems with his neck last year and missed several games. He's wearing a new collar this year, and they term that an Elvis collar, Lee.
Yeah, it just keeps turned up. It's turned up a little higher. The neck is not able to move around as he makes contact with someone, and hopefully it will do the job and prolong his career. That kept him out of 7 games last year.
4 yards for Marshall. This is 2nd and 6, and Allen throws far side. Sandusky. It'll be a first down for the Eskimos, and Sandusky gets near the 45 of Saskatchewan.
Barry Wilburn making the tackle for Saskatchewan, but a first down for the Eskimos.
It's pretty good scheme against the zone. You got Eddie Brown clearing up here. Sandusky a couple of steps up, and then underneath, let it go. Nice easy pass to complete for Damon Allen. There you see the room. On the corner, Barry Wilburn giving Jim Sandusky quite a bit of room. And on 2nd down, we talked about the importance of converting for Edmonton tonight, and they've done a nice job here in the first quarter.
11 yards for Sandusky. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos as Allen keeps the drive alive and carries himself. Bit of a quarterback draw as Allen steps out near the 30-yard line. 16 yards for Damon Allen, who's run effectively so far.
It really has. Very defined play. The quarterback draw. Blake Marshall gives him a block at the point of attack, and then Damon Allen, who was running as well as I've ever seen him run tonight. One other big run for him so far, and he has done a terrific job moving this offense in the first quarter.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos now at the Saskatchewan 30-yard line. Allen to the near side for Darrell K. Smith.
DK Smith on the hitch and pitch.
Brian Bonner on the tackle.
Close to 4 yards on.
You know, John, you talk to coaches and you say, well, how do you stop Kent Austin and his phenomenal passing attack? Well, I think this is probably the best way you stop it right now, is to keep control of the ball yourself. And so far in the first quarter, the Edmonton offense has had it for a long period of time, and Kent Austin and his team only 1 possession.
Gain is 3 yards, 2nd and 7 facing the Eskimos now. Edmonton leading by a touchdown. Allen with time, far side, looks to the corner. Jump ball, and it's picked off in the end zone by Barry Wilburn. A penalty marker down in the Eskimo backfield, however. Wilburn playing his first game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But the interception may not go down in the books. Flag down in the Eskimo backfield.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 39 on the defense. First down.
Stuart Hill.
That's a tough break for Saskatchewan. You know, they got the tip ball, and Barry Wilburn comes up with the interception, but of course the roughing penalty by Stuart Hill, and all for naught.
Pitch to Brown. Option out to the gives. Now, Lancaster was talking about that play, wasn't he? Wasn't that to be perhaps a pass from number 4, Eddie Brown, quarterback in college?
Well, they had the option for Eddie Brown to throw a pass, but really it is designed for him to either run with it or pitch it to Henry Williams, number 2. And as Eddie Brown gets past the first wave, he's going to be tackled, and probably makes a poor decision here pitching it behind Henry Williams. Should have just made as much as he could, tucked the ball under and taken the hit, but now he puts his team in a pretty big hole.
Loss of 8, 2nd and 18. Brown makes the catch and draws a penalty. There are flags all over the field. Charles Anthony making the stop. Might have detected a little face mask in there.
So another penalty, costly to the Roughriders.
They would have been short of the first down, so penalties hurting Saskatchewan on this drive. Albert Brown gets called for the face masking. They will get a first down when it looked as though they were stopped short. So a roughing penalty, a face masking penalty, and Saskatchewan is their own worst enemy right now.
Eskimos are set up 1st and goal just inside the 5-yard line, and Don Matthews obviously not happy at the turn of events.
Well, so important for Edmonton tonight. You know, they lose the first end of this doubleheader back at Taylor Field last week, and you know, when you've done that, you like to get off to a good start, and so they've been off to a terrific start tonight.
1st and goal, Allen fakes. He's decked. Blaine Suter up to make the tackle. So the Saskatchewan defense has made some big plays. But the Eskimos still have another crack at it. Loss of 4.
2nd and goal, Eskimos, followed the Saskatchewan 9-yard line.
So this will change the thinking of the Eskimos. Damon Allen. 2nd and goal to go from the 9 now. And a procedure call.
Number 9 on the offense.
You know, people will say, ah, what a terrible penalty to take when you're down in scoring range. But really, if they weren't sure of what they wanted to do and they were having trouble getting out of the huddle, 5 yards is not overly critical here. I mean, you're either at the 9 or the 14. You still got lots of room to try and throw a touchdown pass, but make sure you got the right play called.
Back to the 14. 2nd and goal to go from there for Damon Allen. Looks to the corner. Touchdown. Eddie Brown. Couple of big plays in that drive for number 4, Eddie Brown. And 2 touchdown tosses already for Damon Allen.
And Eddie Brown, who I really thought was the sleeper in that big trade with the Toronto Argonauts and who would really be a huge help to this Edmonton offense, makes a nice catch. He gets by Benson Donaldson, number 24, and Donaldson, who has great speed. Eddie Brown just ran right by him, and that ball could not have been thrown any better. So Damon Allen, who they say has struggled in his first couple of games, looks awfully sharp tonight.
$14-0. The Eskimos lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2:03 to go in the opening quarter. Damon Allen has been on target twice. The CFL Live from Commonwealth.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new?
A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
I'm a sensitive guy, right?
So I tried it.
Big man.
It's good. It was great.
Big man.
The new Big Twin Select. Normal, sensitive.
It really blew me away.
You made a big man out of me.
I'm a big man. Big man.
2 impressive scoring drives for Damon Allen and the Edmonton Eskimos. 14 plays to cover 85 yards. Leaf, look at the time of possession, 7:05. Finished off by the Eddie Brown reception from 14 yards out.
Well, they've really been playing well in the first quarter, and keep in mind that when they do this, Kent Austin has only touched the ball once so far in the first quarter.
And Leaf, what's most impressive about the Eskimo possessions is that they've gone straight into a howling wind here at Commonwealth Stadium. Down here in the bowl at field level, it's really blowing into the face of the Eskimos, and Damon Allen goes right into it for 2 scoring drives.
Well, Gord, I think the key, too, is the only long pass that he's really thrown was just a touchdown to Eddie Brown. Everything has been short underneath the predominantly zone cover of Saskatchewan, and so you have to admire that the game plan that they've come up with tonight and how well they're executing it.
He's having, well, as close to perfect tonight as you can have. 8 for 8, 105, and 2 TDs. He's 2 drives, and he's been in the end zone.
You know, everybody's been complaining around Edmonton as to what's wrong with the offense. I think that will put some of this to rest right now.
Ready for the Eskimo kickoff, and the Roughriders will try and get right back into this one with a good return. Terrell Ulmer stopped near the 35 by a wave of Eskimo tacklers.
You know, John, for Saskatchewan, what I think is encouraging, you know, some teams, they get down 14-0 early, and you say, well, we have to be a little more, we have to open the game up in a hurry to try and get back to this. Well, for them, they don't have to change their plan at all. I mean, their game is wide open, so, you know, they just say, hey, 14-0, and we've got the offense, the quarterback, and receivers that can get us back in this thing in a hurry.
Yeah, and Austin will go after it one at a time. He'll just take it a little bit slow here. Down 2 touchdowns to the Eskimos. Good pressure. Austin has to move out of there. He's on target for a first down. Ray Elgard, number 81, his first catch of the game. 20 yards and a first down, Saskatchewan. First down for the Roughriders so far. Elgard in 4th spot among CFL all-time receivers, closing in on Tommy Joe Coffey, Tom Scott, and Brian Kelly. First and 10 Roughriders, just shy of midfield. Austin. A little too far for Byron Williams, streaking down the sideline.
2nd and 10 Eskimos. Saskatchewan, ball on their own 54.
Probably the biggest task facing the Saskatchewan offense tonight is how to protect quarterback Kent Austin. You know, a year ago, they gave up 33 sacks the entire season. Now, after 2 games, they've already given up 7. Now, they've revamped that offensive line with their retirement of Roger Aldag. Scott Hendrickson has taken his place, and, of course, Vic Stevenson has left. So that is the big task for them. Can they protect their fine quarterback?
Early movement. Flags are down. Austin short for Ray Elgard. That was 2nd and 10.
Penalty marker down. That's Barry covering.
Procedure call against the Roughriders on 2nd and 10.
Illegal procedure. 81 on the offense. Penalties declined. 3rd down.
As he so often does, Ray Elgard trying to get a little jump when he goes into motion, and he's at full speed when he hits the line of scrimmage. That time just a little too early. Now, this has been a sore spot for the Roughriders this year, protecting their punter, and that's one of the things they have to do much better tonight.
Wayne Drinkwalder has been handling the long snapping duties for the last 2 games. Here's Henry Williams. Well surrounded and well covered by Saskatchewan special teams. They did a pretty good job on Williams last week at Taylor Field.
Bruce Boyko down nicely to make the tackle, and yes, they did do a good job on Henry Williams last week, but you know, he's a tough guy to do it to twice, 2 weeks in a row. We thought that Henry Williams might be the difference in this game with not only the field position that he gives his offense all the time, but his uncanny ability to break through the containment and score touchdowns. 21 times he has done that in his career.
14 seconds to go in the opening quarter with the Eskimos on top of the Roughriders, 14-0. Part of the reason Damon Allen's running, and he's close to a first down again as Allen is forced out with 4 seconds on the clock. Maurice Crum forcing Allen out that time. We'll see where they spot the ball.
During the last break for the defense, the Saskatchewan coaches were talking about the option look that Edmonton's been throwing at them. A lot of option running by Damon Allen, pitches to Eddie Brown. If the Edmonton philosophy is to get Saskatchewan off balance, they've done it, because the Riders have to be very honest right now the way the Edmonton Eskimos are throwing misdirection at them.
2nd and less than 1. DK.
2nd down, less than a yard to go for the Eskimos. Should be the final play of the opening quarter. Marshall, the ball carrier. That'll be a first down, and that's his quarter number 1 from Commonwealth in Edmonton. So far, it's been all Eskimos on the CFL Live tonight.
Scaled it, jumped it, skied it, surfed it. Rode it, dove it, flew it, crashed it. Never slammed it. Never guzzled it. You
never done nothing till you do Diet Dew.
Did it. Dug it. Savored it. Relished it.
Hey, man, let's do this again.
Today's Touchdown to Win winners may receive one of these prizes. A Fujitsu PCX cellular telephone, the world's smallest cellular flip phone with features to satisfy virtually every personal communications need. Small wonder. Or a Stanley Homeowner's Toolkit featuring 13 of Stanley's best-selling products. Top quality for professionals and do-it-yourselfers. Stanley helps you do things right. Ballots available at all participating Safeway stores.
First and 10, all on their own 22-yard line.
Lots of Rough Rider fans just about everywhere you travel in Canadian football. As usual, a few have made the journey to Edmonton, and a few more live here.
Seems like there's Rough Rider fans everywhere throughout Canada.
14-0, Eskimos have the lead for now. As we begin the second quarter, Michael Stoles.
Michael Stoles spins his way just outside the 25.
Stoles has 3 yards.
Let's go back to the final play of the first quarter. I want to show you a great hit by the middle linebacker. Watch how they seal Bobby Jurison down here. The kick out right here. Blake Marshall's going to come up through the hole. Now here's the middle linebacker, Ray Bernard. You people at home are going to get to watch a terrific collision here. Now in short yardage, you can't block everybody. Sometimes your back has to run over somebody to pick up the first down. He got a few, but what a collision that was.
Allen is picked off. Barry Wilburn has his second interception of the night. This one will count. First one was overruled on a roughing the passer call.
He is a 5-year veteran of the Washington Redskins, has a Super Bowl ring, and he can play. 6'3", 200 pounds, anticipates perfectly in his zone coverage. He had the short area. He dropped off and snuck in underneath Jim Sandusky to come up with the interception. And boy, the Rough Riders needed something good to happen to them to get them back into the game. Maybe this was the interception that will do it.
Doesn't get much better than this. First down inside the 35. Narcisse couldn't hang on. It's going back the other way. This is Lyons on the return for the Eskimos. Mike Saunders brought him down. Penalty markers fly in the area of the tackle. 35 yards on the return for Damian Lyons.
Takes it 32-yard penalty marker down. Mike Saunders with the third tackle for Saskatchewan.
That's Lyons' first interception of the year. So back-to-back interceptions. And the Eskimos have the ball back in a hurry.
We have a delay of game penalty. The Edmonton bench was on the field during that play. The interception is good. 10-yard penalty applied from the point ball dead.
That's a new one.
The bench was on the field. That means somebody from the coaching staff, I would expect. Darrell Smith, I think, might have been a foot into the playing surface there. Nowhere to go for Damon Allen on first down.
Damon Allen on the quarterback draw.
Stu Hill was there.
Damon Allen wanted to hit that quick pass over the middle to one of his backs, I believe Blake Marshall, but number 90, Brian Bonner, just stepped in front, cut it off, and of course Damon Allen made a good decision to run with it. Didn't pick up any yardage, but he's got a 14-point lead. He doesn't want to take any chances throwing that ball into tight coverage.
No gain, second down and 10. The Eskimos lead it by 2 touchdowns early in the second quarter. Allen had difficulty with the exchange from center. And quickly, the Eskimos are into a punting situation.
Well, we've talked about this before. It's the quarterback's fault when the exchange is missed from center. He has to step in and stay in under and not bail out too early. There you see Allen maybe tries to come out from that center just a fraction early. The blitz was coming. He saw it. But he got a little edgy, so the Eskimos will have to give it up.
Here's Glenn Harper. Averaged 41.6 yards so far this season. Good special teams coverage by the Eskimos. Ulmer on the return. The punt traveled 51 yards. And the Rough Riders will try again to get the offense rolling.
Now, McCain brings you French fries, the next generation. McCain Golden Crisp. The natural taste of fresh Canada #1 potatoes, locked in with a delicate crispy coating. So when you crunch through that crispy coating, you'll taste the best fries that ever came out of an oven. McCain Golden Crisp. New cross tracks and spirals. McCain Golden Crisp. The next generation.
For those in the CFL who may have forgotten about the speed of Jeff Fairholm, he served an early reminder this year with a number of long gains in key situations. Saskatchewan quarterback Ken Austin talks about his inside receiver's deceptive speed.
He's been playing great. You know, he came into camp in great shape. He's always been really fast. He's actually one of the faster receivers in the league, but nobody seems to realize that. Defenses, I think, at least in the last couple of years, have respected that and haven't given him much of an opportunity to run down the field with no safety help. In the first 2 games, it so happened that a couple of times defenses took some chances against him and against me, and we were able to hit a big play on him. And you leave him in a one-on-one situation with no deep help. That's pretty courageous move defensively, and I think it's taken a big chance against him.
Those are Jeff Fairholm's numbers for 2 games this season. Pretty impressive. And you know what Ken Austin said about no deep help? That's what Ronnie Lancaster said to us today. We have to help cover Fairholm and Elgard with deep help in behind them. We can't get caught in any bad matchups.
The handoff to Mike Saunders, and the draw works as Saunders gets out across the 30. He'll have a first down. 12 yards for Saunders, and that's about all he had all of last week.
Well, you talk about Edmonton's rushing woes. Saskatchewan is last in the league in rushing, and that time they opened a big hole. And because of the draw play, you know, everybody thinks that they're going to pass block. At that time, they invited the Edmonton defense upfield, had a little seam for Mike Saunders to run through and pick up a first down.
From the 32-yard line, Austin will put it up this time. Under the cover one more time. Saunders forced out just short of a first down.
Edmonton and Saskatchewan defenses are very similar in that they are predicated on zone defense, but occasionally will go to that man-to-man. They're about a 60-40 ratio zone to man, and when each team is in a zone coverage, you have to go underneath it. That time Austin saw it so quickly, dumped it off to Mike Saunders, and you get 9 yards. They're in 2nd and 1, and that's a perfect way to play ball control through the passing game.
From the 40 on 2nd and 1, Saunders got the call again. He'll have the first down.
Mike Saunders, ball carrier. Dan Murphy.
Pinned by Dan Murphy, the Eskimo safety.
First down for the Riders. They'll scrimmage 1st and 10. Ball at their own 44-yard
Saskatchewan comfortably into the 2nd quarter. Now back-to-back first downs, and this is about the time that Ken Austin has seen exactly what the defensive game plan for Edmonton is, not unlike what it was last week. Just rush about 4 guys most of the time and drop everybody else off.
First down on the 44. And Don Narcisse gets more than halfway to a first down. His first reception of the game, and that keeps a pretty impressive 92-game streak intact. Now 93 games for Narcisse with at least 1 catch. Ken Austin chasing the Eskimo coach, Ron Lancaster. He's already set several season records for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and in 19 years, Lancaster established an awful lot of quarterbacking records in Canadian football, not to mention with the Roughriders. Dan Farthing makes the catch.
Willie Pless made the tackle.
And Willie Pless makes the tackle one more time.
Interesting decision for Saskatchewan last week. They decided to play a 5th receiver all the time, and of course that was Dan Farthing. He responded with 6 catches against Edmonton last week. Has his first tonight, but you know, Saskatchewan doesn't fool anybody. They want to throw the football, so why not put 5 receivers out there? I think it's a pretty good move.
Good for a Saskatchewan first down as Austin continues the drive across midfield now. Pressure on Austin. He's down. Benny Goods got there for the first time this evening. 3 sacks on Austin last week in Regina.
One of the biggest things you want to do with it, Kent Austin, is try and upset his rhythm. Don't give him the same look all the time. So Edmonton comes with a seldom used blitz. Willie Pless doesn't get the sack. Benny Goods will get the sack, but Willie Pless coming up the middle gets the initial pressure. And boy, that's so important to change the pace on a Kent Austin.
Loss of 10. This will be 2nd and 20. Saunders gets the call. Nothing doing this time. Melvin Hunter, number 46, was there.
Pretty tough to get the right call on 2nd and 20, and Saskatchewan decides to try and surprise Edmonton with a seldom used running play, but Melvin Hunter said, you're not getting by me. They stuffed him, and once again, the Edmonton offense, which has been so successful tonight, will get the ball back.
Brent Manich, low snap, got it away. Henry Williams begins at the 20. Well covered by Saskatchewan's special teams. A 3-yard return after a 42-yard punt. 8:53 to go till halftime. It's been all Eskimos so far. Edmonton leading 14-0.
Mom's car really sounds great.
I know. I just changed her spark plugs.
You changed her spark plugs?
Yep.
What kind of plugs do you use?
NGK.
No kidding. You know, most car makers use NGKs. I use them in my race car.
That's where I got her new engine. Now Mom's really gonna like me best.
I don't think so.
Quick look at some per-game averages so far in 1993 for the Roughriders and the Eskimos. A big difference in yards passing favoring Saskatchewan on the left of your screen compared to the Eskimos at 216 yards passing per game. But in the rushing department, the Eskimos are already over the average that they've had in the last couple of games. 61 yards so far, and there's a lot of time left in the opening half.
Yeah, that 61 yards largely due to Damon Allen. 2 long runs by him.
8:53 to go till halftime, and the Eskimos have marched impressively with Damon Allen at the controls. 1st and 10 now. Edmonton beginning at the 23-yard line. Blake Marshall bowls his way for 5 yards. Marshall averaging just 3.1 yards per carry coming into this game, but he's fired up tonight. The story really has been the quarterbacking of the Eskimos. Damon Allen, a couple of touchdown tosses to Williams and Brown, and 166 yards in total offense, which certainly has been impressive. Michael Souls has a 1st down for the Eskimos.
8 yards on the play. Eskimos 1st and 10. Ball at the 36.
Gain will be 8 yards for Souls. And a 1st down for the Eskimos out across the 35-yard line at the 36.
Damon Allen has really done a nice job with that short passing game. High percentage, you see that, 9 for 10 now.
Looking for a receiver, far side of the field, and he won't get it away. Bobby Jurison. Jurison gets the quarterback sack, and that's the 89th in his CFL career.
And what the Saskatchewan front four does so well is really stay in their lanes. You see, Jurison did not let Damon Allen get out and break containment, and that is really the key. Allen had no place to go, nobody to throw to, and you give up the sack.
A 9-yard loss on the play.
Now he's into a tie with Vince Goldsmith among the all-time sack leaders on the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Procedure call against the Eskimos, and that makes it 2nd down and 19 to go. 2nd and 18, back at the 28. Shotgun, another penalty marker down. Allen takes off himself. He stopped short of the 1st down at the 40.
Damon Allen takes off.
Brought down by Stuart Hill.
And Allen brought down by Stu Hill.
Eskimos lead it 14-0 with 7:12 to go till halftime. Penalty against Saskatchewan looks to be offside.
Offside, number 39 on the defense. Second down repeated.
So another penalty gives the Eskimos another opportunity, and costly penalties kept the drive going that set up a second touchdown.
Stuart Hill really just lined up offside on that play, and for Don Matthews, he must be concerned. You know, they've had problems with special teams this year, and now tonight another mental part of the game, the silly penalties just hurting the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Second down and a bunch. Allen has trouble with the snap on the shotgun. Far side. Intended it for Williams. Knocked down by Albert Brown, who almost brought it down.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. He was just trying to throw that thing as far out of bounds as he could, and he just didn't quite get enough on it. But he was very fortunate to be able to pick this up. Good pass protection allowed him to even have a chance. But here you'll see, he sees Williams and says, hey, I'm just going to try and get this thing out of bounds, and let's punt this thing away and get out of this mess.
Harper's punt. Ulmer ready to return. Good upfield tackle by J.P. Esquerdo. A 4-yard return, a 53-yard punt. 1st and 10 Saskatchewan when we return.
Oh, baby, I can't stand still. Keep on working, and the hours will keep on moving. Yeah, looking for the sun. A lifetime of driving, baby, but the bell is on. Can't stand still.
Ford F-Series trucks. They've kept Canada moving with the best-selling pickups for over 27 years.
Oh. Welcome back to Commonwealth in Edmonton. 6 minutes, 30 seconds to go in the opening half, and it's been all Edmonton so far. The Eskimos leading the Roughriders 14-0 in the rematch from last Thursday.
Kind of a funny first half with the flow of the game. Edmonton opened with a tremendously long scoring drive, and then penalties took over. They got another score, but the ebb and flow of this game has really been decided by penalties so far. Ken Austin really has not been able to get on track. I think you look at the Edmonton defense, and one of their objectives tonight was to try and not only upset Kent Austin's rhythm, but try and upset the rhythm of the two inside receivers, Jeff Fairholm and Ray Elgard, and they can do that in a number of ways. And one of them is to get your inside linebackers, Melvin Hunter, Larry Ruck, and Willie Pless, putting a pretty good hit on these guys as they work downfield. And I think this defense of Edmonton does that as well as any in the league. Try and slow up those receivers, help out your pass rush.
On Lancaster's Eskimos, 8-2 against the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the last 10 games at Commonwealth, but 4-6 against the Roughriders in the last 10 games overall. So the Roughriders have been exacting some measure of revenge under Don Matthews. Matthews in his 16th year as a coach in Canadian football. Had some great success here at Commonwealth as an assistant in the Hugh Campbell days, 5 straight Grey Cups.
Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator. Boy, he had some great players to work with, and he always had a lot of enthusiasm for his defense, and that's kind of the way they played.
Yeah, had some big guys in that defense. Dave Fennell, Dan Kepley.
A couple of good ones come to mind there.
Austin, shotgun on 1st down.
Ken Austin, Ray Elgard on the middle. Leroy Blue and Willie.
Leroy Blue on the tackle, Elgard on the catch.
Should be close to a 1st down, and here comes 6.
Well, an unusual play for Austin. Ray Elgard stays in to block and then takes a little quick screen pass as they go to the rollout, and Leroy Blue comes all the way across the field to make the play, but not before Ray Elgard is able to come very close to picking up a 1st down.
That close.
Yeah, Saskatchewan needs to put some first downs together, get some sort of a march going. Maybe not necessarily score some points, but just try and change the tempo of this game. The penalties have just slowed their progress down, and they need to just try and get some tempo going and complete some balls, and they'll get back in this one. Yeah, there's the story. They need Fairholm, but boy, you know, on the other side of the coin, Edmonton's thinking, hey, if we can shut these inside guys down, make them go to plan B, which is the wide receivers and Mike Saunders, the running back, you know, we've done a job too. And you watch tonight, as you're watching this game, they're going to try and put some good hits on number 18 Fairholm.
Second down, less than a yard to go for Austin and the Roughriders. Second and inches, and it will be a first down for Saskatchewan. Austin really hasn't been able to drive the Roughriders so far tonight.
Well, he hasn't had the ball a lot. You know,
Yeah,
there's
that's
two
true.
long drives in the first quarter by Edmonton, and he only had, I believe, 2 possessions in the first quarter.
First down's a big difference there, 13-5 Edmonton.
Well, when you consider Edmonton's had 28 first downs in 2 games, I think that's tremendously good production for them.
First down, Austin. And the Roughriders over the middle. Dan Farthing makes the catch. Stopped immediately by Don Wilson.
Check out Don Wilson to the tackle.
Gain is 6 yards.
Donnie Wilson, there you see 3 interceptions already in a couple of games, leading the league. Of course, he too came over from that trade with Toronto. Who didn't? Seems like the whole team out there was with the Argonauts a year ago.
Second and 4, near side, and here comes a penalty marker. The coverage a little too close on number 87, Byron Williams. Damian Lyons was covering.
As Williams made his break back to the outside, it was one of those work to the inside, pivot back out. Damian Lyons was beaten cleanly, and he just put the tug on the jersey.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Number 10 on the defense. It's first down.
Yeah, a little doubt about that call. So the Rough Rider drive continues with 4:38 to go till halftime. Eskimos leading 14-0.
Boy, a year ago, Damian Lyons with 8 interceptions, a Western Division All-Star. He's got great size for a corner. Not too many corners you see at 6'4" tall, but he uses that to his best of his abilities, especially in those bump and run coverage situations.
Rough Riders on first down from the 43. There was early movement. Austin stands in and fires over the middle, has a first down right at midfield. Out at the 55, it's Ray Elgard, 12 yards. And he's finding the inside receivers again, Kent Austin.
Well, you can't shut him down all night, and although Edmonton jumped offside, no question Saskatchewan will decline that penalty and keep the catch by Ray Elgard.
43 on the defense. Penalties declined. First down.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to cover. You know, Elgard, you know, if you try and bump him or push him, he's so big he can just knock you off. And that time he sat in the open spot in the zone and just sat there nicely and made the catch.
Right at midfield. The Rough Riders 1st and 10. Elgard again. Not a first down this time, but he is inside the Eskimo 50 at about the 48.
Coverage, Donnie Wilson, the quick out. I mean, there's really no way to stop that. You just try and control it. The best thing you can do is just come up and make the tackle quickly and, you know, give him the 6.5, 7 yards. But Edmonton is now countered with 6 defensive backs in the game to go against those 5 receivers that Saskatchewan is putting. Doug Parrish has come in as the extra DB.
4th reception for Elgard. This is 2nd and 3. Far side of the field, Fairholm still being shut out. Coverage by Ed Berry.
Both teams play that zone defense so well. Ed Berry had the short flat on that coverage, and when nobody came into his territory, he was just able to come up and react to the football in the air. Knocked the ball away from Fairholm. So as John said, a pretty frustrating evening so far for Jeff Fairholm.
Brent Matich back near his 45, 3:14 to go till halftime. Henry Williams. As has a little bit of room, and here goes the Giz. So long. Pure speed.
22nd time that Henry Williams has done this throughout his career. We talked about would he be the difference in the game tonight. Maybe not the total difference, but boy, oh boy, can he give you a touchdown in a hurry. And nobody's going to catch Henry Williams, and the Edmonton Eskimos seem to have everything in control here in the second quarter.
Second time this season that he's taken a punt return for the touchdown. He did it the opening week against the Argos.
I thought the only disappointing thing in that touchdown run was there no flip at the end.
No,
I've become accustomed to seeing that.
That's punt return touchdown number 19. And as you said, Leaf, kick return touchdown number 22. Here he is one more time. The Giz at his best. 100 yards. And you knew he was gone right about here. Yards for the Giz, and Leaf, he said on the sidelines, is too slippery down there for the flip. So
well, that's okay with me then. Don't take any chances. Let's go back and have a look at this punt return for a touchdown. Now Henry Williams gets it. Let it run just a little bit, and I want to show you really you don't need much of a seam for a great returner like him. And stop it right here. Okay, here's Brian Bonner coming down in coverage. Now, looks like he has a pretty good shot at getting Williams, right? Well, let it go a little further to watch Bonner. He feels the block coming, so he kind of eases up. And that's all Henry Williams need. Really one little seam. Madish, there's no way he's going to catch him. And that's all it takes for a 100-yard punt return touchdown for Henry Williams. But gosh, how many times have we said it? You don't need much for a guy like him. And that's a true example of it right there.
He is the best. Henry Williams, 21-0 for the Eskimos. That's his second touchdown of the ball game. And just totaling them up, that's 22 on a total for Henry Williams. That's CFL record. Two categories there, the 19 punt return touchdowns and 22 overall. Well, the Roughriders in tough shape now. Let's see if Saunders can give Saskatchewan decent field position. Penalty markers are down. Saunders gets out near the 50. These two teams do not like each other a whole bunch. Last week was a very physical football game, and there are signs that it's going to be a hard hitter tonight.
Good run by Mike Saunders to give his team some much needed field position. And, you know, I think you look at any game and you say, what might be a critical part of the game? Well, I think it's right now for Saskatchewan. They got 2:45 remaining. They trail by 21. And, boy, you want to be able to go into the locker room with at least a good feeling. I mean, this is a down group right now. Nothing really has gone their way. So I really think it's imperative with this good field position for Ken Austin to get at least even a field goal on the board so they can go into the locker room feeling better about themselves than going in with a 21-point deficit.
1st and 10. Roughriders at the 48 of the Eskimos, trailing by 21. Austin to his right and throwing on the run behind his intended receiver. Donnie Wilson, good coverage.
But see, this is the problem for the Saskatchewan offense, and I think Don Matthews recognizes this. They don't want Austin rolling out. He's getting the pressure up the middle. The offensive line isn't doing the job protecting for him, so he has to go to his plan B, which is to roll out and throw on the run. He is much more effective standing tall in that pocket and using the whole field. I think his numbers reflect that extra pressure tonight. Only 77 yards and a half. Boy, Edmonton has to be thrilled with that.
From the shotgun, Austin on 2nd and 10. More pressure as the blitz was on. Austin read it. Couldn't hang on. Hang on. They rule it a catch and a fumble. Damian Lyons had an interception earlier.
Well, we talked about the struggles for Saskatchewan needing something good to happen. Certainly not this. A nice catch by Ray Elgard, and then Donnie Wilson able to strip the ball loose, and Damian Lyons will come up with the fumble recovery. So when you talk about a team hitting on all cylinders, I would think that you would take this half, if you're an Edmonton fan, and just capsule it. That's the way you want every half to be.
On the turnover, 1st down Edmonton. Allen under pressure and dropped near the 29. Sean Brantley in his first game for the Roughriders, number 96. Got through on Allen that time. Well, there's an injured official down on the field. We'll try and take a closer look at what happened.
Ken Picot, he's right in the middle. Look at the referee right here. Now, I'll clear that, let it go, and you'll see Blake Marshall come out. He gets hit in the back by a Saskatchewan player, but then it's Marshall right there, and a big hit.
It's Ken Pico, number 80, who is down, a 9-year veteran of the CFL, and there's a great deal of concern about the way he got hit. And they won't be taking any chances out there, because anyone who gets hit flush by Blake Marshall's in trouble, especially when they're not wearing pads.
But Blake took one last week in that hard-hitting game that John talked about from Maurice Crum. He took 9 stitches on a hit from Crum last week. And Ken Pico, well, he gets to feel what it's like when Marshall unloads on somebody.
It's nice to see he's up and off the field, being attended to by the Eskimo training staff. 9 of 11 for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns for Damon Allen so far, and that's a big reason the Eskimos have a 21-0 lead. Almost picked off
over the middle
by Crum. Maurice Crum, number 99.
Don Matthews, when he talks about Maurice Crum, says he could be like a Willie Pless. He's about the same size, you know, in that 5'11", a little heavier than Willie Pless at 230 pounds. But he was a finalist for the Dick Butkus Award for the most outstanding linebacker in University football in the United States when he was with the Miami Hurricanes. He is a good one.
Low snap. Harper gets it away. There'll be no return for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So with 2:07 to go till halftime, one last chance for Kent Austin to rev up this Roughrider offense. It's been stalled so far tonight.
Hard to believe if somebody would bet you before the game that with 2 minutes left in the half, Kent Austin would only have 77 yards through the air. I think you would take that bet, wouldn't you?
And Fairholm doesn't have a reception to add a little more to the problem.
Riders 1st and 10, ball just inside their 48-yard line.
Austin and the Roughriders have one chance before the half. Just shy of the 50-yard line at the 48 beginning this drive. shotgun. Austin near side. Farthing has the catch.
Ted Austin to Dan Farthing.
The grasp of Damon Lyons. Short of the first down. By about a yard and a half. At the half around the league. Sports updates from TSN Control on the story of the game. Could be the Giz.
Could be the Giz. Could be Damon Allen, 9 of 11. Probably the best half he has had in a long time.
Inside the Eskimos side of midfield.
They call it a gain of 8. Second down and 2. Saunders has the first down. Penalty markers near the 50. Allen forced him out.
Pushed out of bounds by Damian Lyons. But a penalty marker down.
Discussion continues near midfield. We'll get the official infraction here.
Holding number 15 on the offense. Penalty occurred after the yards had been gained. It is now 1st and 10.
Watch to the left of your screen there. 15 is Bruce Boyko, and as he makes the block on number 20, Donnie Wilson, he absolutely puts the hook on him. And make that Glenn Rogers, who he held, but one of those silly, foolish penalties. The first down was picked up, but you cost your team some valuable yardage. We've seen a lot of those tonight on both sides.
Early movement again by the Roughriders. Austin stands in. Firing on the run. Fairholm can't make the catch. A desperation pass by Kent Austin. Tipped by Dan Murphy. And a procedure call going against the Roughriders. I think it might have been Ray Elgard moving a little quickly.
Yeah, as he so often does. Second time tonight he has jumped the gun.
81 on the offense. Penalty is declined. Second down.
2nd and 10. As the Roughriders' offensive problems continue, they're trailing 21-0.
It's funny, both teams 1-1 record coming in tonight, and penalties really had not been a problem for either team, but tonight extremely costly for Saskatchewan.
For Saunders, close to a first down. He's near the 50. And met there by Melvin Hunter.
Willie Pless, Leroy Blue, and Melvin Hunter, the trio of Eskimos in on the tackle.
1:27 to go till halftime. And they'll measure this to see how close the Roughriders really are. Coming into the game, the Riders were averaging 432 yards a game passing. And they have been slowed considerably by the Eskimo defense here at Commonwealth tonight.
I can't believe they'd even measure that. I mean, that's a yard away. Jeff Fairholm on the screen now. His job is to try and pick out somebody downfield. Usually the guy covering you and make a block. He just couldn't wrestle long enough with Willie Pless in along with Melvin Hunter to make that play. So a third down gamble for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That ball way short of the first down marker.
Third down, about a yard and a half. For Saunders, he has the first down, so the Rider drive will continue. Austin has an opportunity to get some points on the board.
And some tremendous footwork by Mike Saunders as he hits the line of scrimmage, because number 39, Willie Pless, seemed to be in the hole too, but Saunders with a quick little step to the inside was able to pick up that first down. And what a critical first down that is for Saskatchewan. They really need to answer those 21 points that Edmonton has put on the board.
On first down, Saskatchewan, Austin to the far side. Saunders again forced out by Ed Berry. Saunders has been productive for the Roughriders.
Well, and he should be against the Edmonton defense that likes to sit back in his zone coverage. Your running back should be really involved in your passing game, and Mike Saunders sat out underneath his zone along the sidelines. It's a good call. He gets 9 yards. He gets out of bounds and stops the clock at the same time.
.50 seconds to go. Roughriders at the Eskimo 35 now. Saunders gets the call one more time, and he should have a first down. Hard running off tackle right for Saunders.
Benny Gibbs and Willie Pleasant in on the tackle.
46 seconds till the half, with the Eskimos in control from the outset, leading 21-0 right now.
Riders first and 10, ball at the Eskimo 31.
But I think now as the clock winds down 39-38, Austin really has to start putting the ball up. It's okay on 2nd and 1 to pick it up on the run, but he's got to start throwing.
Far side, off target. Austin intended that for Don Narcisse. He was out of bounds. 28 seconds till the half.
Second and 10, Riders.
A bit of a surprise at Commonwealth so far.
I think Edmonton's made some subtle adjustments, going with 6 defensive backs tonight against the 5-receiver offense. That has paid off. They've had excellent coverage all evening.
2nd and 10, Austin throwing on the run. Dan Farthing makes the catch. He is down to the 10. 19 seconds till the half. Leroy Blue made the tackle. 21 yards for Farthing, who has been very productive for the Roughriders so far.
And usually for most quarterbacks, which is such a dangerous pass to throw back across the field into a whole lot of coverage people, is not a dangerous pass for Austin. He finds Farthing. Farthing makes a nice catch. They keep this drive going. They're inside the 10, and boy, a big score here would really improve their feelings.
1st and goal to go from the 9. Oh, Fairholm couldn't bring it in. Austin just a little bit too far with a touchdown toss. So 4 seconds left.
And really, for the most part tonight, Edmonton has not made any mistakes on defense, but here they made one and got away with it. They turned Fairholm loose, and fortunate for them that Ken Austin just overthrew him by a touch. So Edmonton, they take out 2 linemen, and they bring in extra linebacker, another extra defensive back, and it pays off as Austin couldn't find Fairholm.
Ridgway gets the Roughriders' first points of the game. Ridgway now 8 for 8 in field goals in 93. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders well short of the Edmonton Eskimos at 21-3. It's halftime at Commonwealth.
And coming up at the half, we'll have our look around the league to see what's been going on lately, as well as a TSN Sports Update, which will include a big story from here in the Edmonton Oilers. And John Leaf will come back with the story of the first half. 21-3 to score at the half. We're back with more on the CFL Live from Edmonton in just a moment. Back at Edmonton, where the Eskimos enjoy a 21-3 lead over the Saskatchewan Roughriders at halftime. The Eskimos looking for revenge after a loss last week and getting it so far. Week 2 of the CFL season kicked off last week with a game south of the border. Yes, Sacramento got its first taste of the CFL, and that kicks off our look around the CFL.
History was made on Saturday night in Sacramento as the CFL played its first ever regular season game in the United States. And a crowd of over 20,000 saw Canadian football at its best. Doug Flutie rebounded from a shaky first half to throw 3 touchdown passes in the 3rd quarter. The 21-point outburst gave the Stampeders a seemingly comfortable 31-14 lead. But David Archer led the goal miners back with 3 TD passes of his own. Archer and Flutie combined for almost 900 yards through the air. Ironically, the game wasn't decided by the quarterbacks. Sacramento kicker Jim Crouch missed a 32-yard field goal with less than 2 minutes left, and the Stampeders escaped with a 38-36 win.
Sacramento played a great game. They had a lot of emotion, and I think what the winner of this game was the Sacramento City. This This crowd was fantastic. You can see people lined up everywhere out here, and it was just an excellent sight to see. I think that the States is going to grasp this game, and I hope that Canada doesn't lose it, because it's a heck of a game, and the States, Sacramento did a great job.
It was a good news, bad news week for the BC Lions. The good news came on Wednesday in Toronto with an impressive win over the Argonauts. Running back John Volpe played in his first game after settling his contract dispute and scored 2 touchdowns. But the bad news for the Lions came in the fourth quarter. Volpe broke his leg on this play and could be out of action for 6 weeks.
It's just bad luck. That's all there is to it. It was just a freak accident, and you know, just you can't really describe it. It's just bad luck, and it's a disappointment for me.
It was a big week for a couple of kickers in the CFL. On Thursday night, Dave Ridgway's 50-yard field goal with less than 2 minutes on the clock gave the Saskatchewan Roughriders a 23-22 win over Edmonton. Both teams are now 1-1. And in Ottawa on Friday, Paul Osbaldiston went from goat to hero in less than a minute. Osbaldiston had a chance to tie the game with 53 seconds left, but his 32-yard field goal was wide. But then Ottawa couldn't move the ball. Osbaldiston got another chance, and with no time on the clock, he hit from 27 yards out to give the Ticats a 21-20 win and sole possession of first place in the East.
Here in the West, it's the Eskimos leading Saskatchewan 21-3. And TSN Sports Update is coming up next. We'll return with more at halftime on the CFL Live in just a moment.
Last year, there were nearly 40 million oil changes in Canada. Unfortunately, not one line of oils could provide the ultimate defense against viscosity breakdown. But now there's Castrol GTX, the only leading motor oil that meets the world's toughest requirements for viscosity breakdown in every grade. So once again, it's time to change your oil. New Castrol GTX, engineered for today's harder working engines. Castrol GTX, now available at these and other leading retail outlets.
Blue Jays baseball. Nobody plays it like TSN. The Jays take their road show south into Texas to take on the Rangers tonight on Real TV, TSN.
Today's touchdown to win winners may receive one of these prizes. His and hers Timex watches with the Indiglo Nightlight, a far superior watch lighting system. See your watch clearly at night. Available on a variety of watches exclusively from Timex. Or Milwaukee's variable 2-speed cordless driver drill with keyless chuck and a heavy-duty 7 1/4-inch circular saw. Milwaukee, discover what the pros already know. Ballots available at all participating Safeway stores.
Commonwealth, the CFL Live on TSN tonight. The Edmonton Eskimos had a 21-0 lead before the Saskatchewan Roughriders woke up and managed a field goal by Dave Ridgway last play of the half. I guess the story of the game really has to be the Giz.
Well, you know, so many times you talk about the gizmo and the punt returns and all that, but he got them off to a great start with his pass receiving abilities. And one of the keys for the Edmonton offense is to get the ball to Gizmo quickly. Yeah, sure, he's the home run threat with the bomb, but when you get it in his hands at the 5-yard mark and he has the ability to use his move, speed, and quickness, he is a real threat, and he capped off their opening drive with his 20-yard touchdown reception.
Yeah, lots of good things happen to the Eskimos when the Giz gets his hands on the football here for 100 yards and a punt return touchdown.
And he sure can make your return blocking team look good, can he? All it takes is a little seam, and he is off and running at the point of attack. One quick block, and there's no way Brent Matic is going to catch him. And Henry Williams, the Eskimos, his 22nd time he has been able to take a kick return all the way for a touchdown.
Henry Williams, the difference we thought, in the first half. And part of the story, too, has to be Damon Allen, who had a very impressive two-drive performance for the Edmonton Eskimos and tossed 2 touchdown passes, including the one you just saw.
Well, you know, the heat has been on him in Edmonton. They've criticized his play in the first 2 games, but I think he will put all the critics to rest here with a first half of 9 of 12 and 113 yards and a couple of touchdown passes. I don't think he could have scripted it any better for himself.
So far, Air Austin has been grounded, but we're ready for the second half, and the kickoff is coming up in just a moment on the CFL Live.
Hey, Roberto, which is the best pitcher you've ever faced?
The one with McCain Punch.
Catch the taste of McCain Frozen Punch. In orange, berry, and fruit punch. McCain Punch is made with real fruit juices to deliver real fruit taste, which makes McCain the punch of champions, like Roberto Alomar.
Catch the taste.
Catch the real fruit taste of McCain Punch.
Ready to begin the second half at Commonwealth in Edmonton. The Eskimos had a great opening 2 quarters. Saskatchewan Roughriders have a long way to battle back.
Well, I guess if there's any good news for Saskatchewan is they will get the ball back to begin this second half, and Ken Austin will have an opportunity to try and close the gap early.
A miscue on the return, loose ball. Who comes up with it? The Eskimos. It's been that kind of night for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Ulmer had a problem, and the Eskimos get it back quickly. J.P. Escuerdo is celebrating with his new Eskimo teammates. Big part of the story, total yards for the Saskatchewan Roughriders compared to the Eskimos. Time of possession is also a big factor. And turnovers in the first half.
Seemed like Edmonton had the ball the entire first quarter, and Terry Ulmer doesn't get the Riders off to a good start in the second half as he muffs this kickoff, and the Edmonton Eskimos take over.
On first down, the Eskimos go to Blake Marshall.
Stu Hill there finally to bring him down.
Gain is 6 yards. It'll be 2nd and 4.
But I think this is one of these situations where you really have an opportunity to put a team away, and not too many times can you say that at the beginning of the third quarter, but the Edmonton Eskimos with an 18-point lead and tremendous field position can really do some harm to Saskatchewan here.
Eskimos 2nd and 4. No first down.
Blake Marshall
carry.
Jurison took the wraps on him.
He'll be short of the first down.
Gain of 3, but about a yard short of the first down. Eskimos 3rd and 1.
Edmonton just trying to hammer away at Saskatchewan right now and get that running game going that they haven't had for a couple of games.
It's been that kind of night for Don Matthews. 3rd down. A yard to go, and the Eskimos go gambling deep inside Saskatchewan territory. Marshall stops.
The Eskimos fumble the football, and it's
picked up by Bayless. On a 3rd down gamble, so the fumble really doesn't come into effect there.
No, I think they had it stuffed at the point of attack, and on that left side, Gerald Bayless and Bobby Jurison, they just get the good penetration, and boy, they hit by Ray Bernard, but really it was before that. The ball just did not get into Blake Marshall's arms. They wanted to run the option and hand off to Marshall.
First and 10, ball on their own 22.
This play, and of course, that's what has haunted Ron Lancaster and his offense in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Austin begins on first down from the shotgun. Far side, Elgard makes the catch. Elgard dives for a first down.
Ray Elgard shaking and baking.
Damian Lyons on the tackle on Ray Elgard.
Pick up on the play.
So you keep looking for signs to lift the Saskatchewan offense, and maybe that turnover on the 3rd down gamble will do so. Ray Elgard with the good catch. He has had a good night. Fairholm has been shut down, but certainly hasn't affected the play of his partner, inside receiver Ray Elgard. Doug Parrish with the miss on the tackle, and Elgard gets a few extra yards.
Elgard, 6 receptions, 82 yards. First down, Saskatchewan, almost intercepted. Sanders was the intended receiver, and Don Wilson almost had his 4th interception of the year. Austin 133 yards, 1 interception. Fairholm 0 receptions. The Riders coughed it up 2 times.
They were their own worst enemies, and that is certainly the storyline of why they are trailing by 18 here in the third.
2nd and 10. Austin stands in with time to throw. Near side. Dan Farthing was the intended receiver.
Ball was out of bounds. Doug Parrish in on the coverage.
There's no question to me the difference in this game has been the strategy of the Edmonton defense. That 6 defensive back scheme that they have used has really fooled Kent Austin. He's used to having some real mismatches out there with his 5 receiver offense, but tonight Edmonton has taken that away from him. They have matched up very well, and for the most part tonight Austin's had great difficulty picking out an open receiver because there just hasn't been one.
Eskimos leading the Roughriders 21-3. And Edmonton gets the ball back right here. Henry Williams starts at the 33. 1 punt return touchdown already for 100 yards. Nowhere to go that time. Back for the Eskimo first down in just a moment. It's been all Edmonton so far at Commonwealth.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Is that O. Henry?
Yes, it is.
Looks different.
It's a peanut butter O. Henry.
Peanut butter O. Henry?
Yes.
It's new?
It is.
Still got peanuts and caramel.
Yeah?
But it's got peanut butter.
Are you hungry?
No.
You must be hungry.
No, I'm not hungry.
You must be
I'm
hungry.
not hungry.
Eat it.
Okay.
New peanut butter O. Henry. When you're hungry, eat it. What? Do you breathe when you eat?
At the start of this game, Ron Lancaster told his team, this is the last time you'll see Saskatchewan in the regular season. Make sure they remember what you did to them here if we have to play them in November. One of the keys for the Eskimos was to stop Saskatchewan's great tandem of inside receivers. Lancaster talked about how the Eskimos would stop Jeff Fairholm and Ray Elgard.
Well, their receivers are so tough, and you put Narcisse on top of that. Narcisse usually catches the balls outside, but Austin loves to throw his slot backs, and to stop Fairholm and Elgard, if you get up in Fairholm's face, he's got so much speed he runs by you, so you got to have help behind him. If Elgard is so strong that he just throws guys out of the way and finds the open area, and Austin finds him. If we could figure out how to stop Fairholm and Elgard, we wouldn't have much trouble with this club.
Well, they've stopped Fairholm, and they have the lead by 18 points.
Yeah, the scheme that they use, I just talked about, the 6 defensive backs, and what they do is match up 5 DBs on the 5 receivers, and then they've got Dan Murphy, number 24, the middle safety, who is free in man-to-man responsibilities, and he is able to give that deep support in behind Fairholm and Elgard that Ron Lancaster alluded to.
Lancaster's Eskimos have been very successful so far with a 21-3 lead and a first down here. Michael Souls brought down by Glenn Suter. 12 yards. The Eskimo running game is working well.
And I think that was very important for them tonight to try and reestablish something. Last year was such a big part of their offense, and Rod Conop, number 67, the center, with a super job on Gerald Bayless. They get him out of the way, and that allows Michael Souls to get some nice running room with Randy Ambrosi coming through leading on the trap, but very important for them to get their running game back.
Another first down for the Eskimos. Allen, a good fake. And open field to the far side. Close to the first down for Damon Allen. Forced out by Vincent Donaldson.
The sidelines, pushed out of bounds by Vincent Donaldson. Very close to first down yardage on the play.
Damon Allen on the bootleg. Watch him come back to the right side of the field. Okay, stop it right there. Now look, what a great decision he has. He's pointing to Sandusky. Go downfield, let it go. Here he is. He's looking out to Sandusky with all this field here. Let it run. And now he decides, well, there's pretty good coverage. I've still got lots of room to pick up some good yardage, and he gets almost the first down.
This will be second down, less than a yard to go for the Eskimos. Allen looked to have a difficult time with the exchange.
Damon Allen on a quarterback keeper. First down signal.
If he lost the ball, it came back to him. First down, Edmonton.
Well, it's interesting, John. A year ago, Ron Lancaster, you know, everybody said, well, you have a lack of a speedy back in the backfield for your running game. And he said, well, Tracy Ham's our speedy back. And, you know, that's how they did it. This year, it looks as though Damon Allen is filling that void. His running tonight has really been a key. We really haven't talked about that. He's had such a good night throwing the ball, but when he has run the ball, it has really been effective.
Another first down. Penalty markers are down. And Michael Souls is forced back.
Michael Souls, the ball carrier. Stacked up by a host of Green Riders. Penalty marker down.
Brian Bonner in on the tackle on Michael Souls, and there is a marker down.
Holding, number 60 on the offense. Be first down repeated.
That's Chris Morris, the Eskimos Rookie of the Year in 1992.
You know, I thought what Gord Miller said was so apropos for this game. This is the last time these two teams meet, so they want to really send each other a serious message. And well, I think the message Edmonton is sending up front, although they had a holding penalty, is, hey, we can run against this front four, and they're supposed to be a pretty tough front four to do that against, but tonight they've had some pretty good success.
1st and 20. The Eskimos back at the 46. Allen in trouble. Bayless can't get to him. Still got it away. D.K. Smith well short of the first down, but he's out near midfield. Stopped by Ray Bernard. Two Rough Riders had a shot at Damon Allen. He still got it away.
Well, statistically, this will not really show up as one of the better plays of the night, but did Damon Allen ever buy himself some extra time? That's the second miss on that sequence for Gerald Bayless, and what looked like a terrible play ended up not being a bad one as Darrell Smith made the catch. Oh, a quarterback that can get himself some extra time.
It'll be 2nd down, 11 to go. Eskimos right at midfield. Draw play, Michael Souls. Souls has a first down. He needed 12, he got 15. Brian Bonner over to make the tackle.
Gain 15 yards on the play, a first down for the Eskimos.
Watch Bayless on the nose. He gets pushed that way, and Michael Souls on the draw up here. Bobby Jurison will come in, but he can't make the play. And, you know, some sloppy tackling right here because Bayless had a shot. Jurison has a shot, but they just can't bring Michael Souls down, and the drive keeps going.
First down, Edmonton. Saskatchewan 40. Allen buys more time and dives across the 35.
David Allen dances his way to the 35-yard line. Gain of 5 on the play.
5-yard gain.
And as a defensive player, what you really have to do against a Damon Allen is just be in control when you try and make the tackle. Here you're going to see number 95 come from the left. Ray Bernard, the middle linebacker. Watch this. He comes too hard, and Damon Allen just goes slipping by him right there and picks up some good yardage again. But as a defense, you have to be under control, not recklessly running after Damon Allen.
Allen has almost 60 yards on 8 carries. On target. Brown has a first down. He has a touchdown. Eddie Brown. Brown worked on Benson Donaldson for his 2nd touchdown of the ball game.
And John, you know, it really appears to me at this point in time that Saskatchewan Roughriders are just not mentally ready to play tonight. Benson Donaldson comes up, and I mean, he just trips over his own feet, falls flat in his face. Suter misses a tackle. They've missed a whole pile of tackles on this drive. And, you know, give Eddie Brown credit. That's a nice catch and run. Good throw by Damon Allen, but I just don't think Saskatchewan's ready to play tonight.
The Eskimos are fired up for the rematch at Commonwealth. Eddie Brown has 2 touchdowns, and the Eskimos have a big lead.
Mom's car really sounds great.
I know. I just changed their spark plugs.
You changed their spark plugs?
Yep.
What kind of plugs do you use?
NGK.
No kidding. You know, most car makers use NGKs. I use them in my race car.
That's where I got our new engine. Now Mom's really gonna like me best.
I don't think so.
Another long scoring drive for the high-flying Eskimo offense. 8 plays, 77 yards. Eddie Brown on the receiving end of the touchdown toss from Damon Allen. Eskimos have now driven 87, 85, and 77 yards for touchdowns. There's not much wrong with this offense.
Oh, they're having a terrific night tonight. Eddie Brown with his 3rd touchdown of the year. And for Saskatchewan, I mean, they knew that when they won last week, they were going to come into a pretty hostile environment here at Commonwealth Stadium. A tough place to win on the road, but boy, it just looks as though they are not ready to play. It looks as though they were content with getting the opening win in the back-to-back doubleheader.
Eskimo defense has sprung a couple of leaks. Ulmer has trouble once more. He's in the lineup for Ricardo Cartwright. Not much field position there. Ulmer out near the 12-yard line. It's stopped by Ed Berry.
Leif, you mentioned how flat Saskatchewan appears to be in this football game. There may be another reason. There was some concern among the coaches that the team is leaving for Sacramento tomorrow, and they'll be down there for 4 days. And the concern was they may be looking ahead to playing Sacramento for the first time and being down in California.
Well, that very well could be. They're in a tough part in their schedule right now, but I think they better take this, what's ever left of the 3rd quarter and 4th, and try and get something back together to take with them to Sacramento.
Sanders has been running well for the Roughriders.
Mike Saunders, the ball carrier, pushed out of bounds by
he's out for a first down, stopped by Glenn Rogers Jr.
And I think even more apropos to Saskatchewan going to Sacramento, they better be ready for a game, because Sacramento, coming off 3 straight losses, you know, they want to get in the win column, and they look pretty good against the Stampeders last year, and no surprise that...
Last week, you mean?
Yes, yeah. Last week. No surprise that the Stampeders are off to a good start.
Yeah, 2-point win for the Stampeders over Sacramento. Here's Austin. Farthing makes the catch. He's short of the first down.
Ken Austin zips one in for Dan Farthing.
Dan Farthing has been one of the bright spots, second in the Huskies' all-time scoring or all-time receiving list at the University of Saskatchewan.
Taking a gain of 8 on the play.
That first pick 3 years ago by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, has not had a great deal of playing time throughout his career, but now slowly working himself into the lineup as the 5th receiver.
5 receptions, 50 yards on the night for Dan Farthing.
Said it was a dream come true for him to go to the University of Saskatchewan and then play for his favorite team, the Riders.
Saunders drives for the first down, met by Willie Pless, and I think he may have it. Just that little extra effort to get the ball across the 35-yard line, and they'll measure.
You talk about 2 inside linebackers. How about Larry Ruck and Willie Pless? And you're going to see Larry Ruck come right into your living room here. He reads and comes across the line of scrimmage and makes the hit on Mike Saunders along with his buddy Willie Pless. But 2 inside linebackers that have tremendous range, mobility, and understand the Canadian game and positioning. Have to be a great runner as a linebacker in this league, and both Larry Ruck and Willie Pless were able to do that.
Here are the Roughriders, first down. Saskatchewan 35, trailing by a bunch at 28-3. Austin, a little screen pass for Saunders. Saunders breaks 1 tackle. It's a first down, Saskatchewan. Saunders forced out by Glenn Rogers Jr. The gain is 15 yards.
Well, I can't recall seeing a game this year with so many missed tackles. Now, you either attribute it to are the guys making superior moves on the field to make people miss, or is it just sloppy? And I think at this point in time, it's kind of a combination of both.
Saunders was so quick there, he ran out of his shoe. So he has to head to the sidelines. Near side, Don Narcisse. To the far side of the field, Byron K. Williams. 1st and 10, Saskatchewan. This is Narcisse. Big hit on Narcisse right at the 55 by Larry Ruck, number 47.
Larry Ruck hanging on for the tackle.
4:52 to go, 3rd quarter. The Eskimos lead 28-3.
This is the best the Saskatchewan offense has looked tonight, and they've done it with the usual high percentage passing game that they usually go to.
-7. This is 2nd and 3, Saskatchewan. Austin gets a big charge. Down one more time. Leading the way, Leroy Blue, but Larry Ruck wasn't far away.
Larry Ruck with the initial hit. Leroy Blue finishing things off, and the side shot by that dynamic.
Well, what happens on you're on a 3-step drop and the linemen try to chop you and you don't get the ball off as a quarterback, you're going to be in big trouble. And Larry Ruck and Leroy Blue were able to come in, but when the offensive lineman chop block those defensive guys and the quarterback doesn't throw it, he can be in a lot of trouble.
From Alberta made, demand the brand, demand the taste. With a first sack in the next quarter, more sack attack.
Here's Brent Matich. Bouncing to Henry Williams. Another seam opens up for the Giz. Good tackle near the 35. Well, the Giz was gone. A 20-yard return after a 44-yard punt. The Eskimos in control against Saskatchewan.
In just 6 months, over 250,000 Canadians have called us to find out how they could save on their long-distance phone calls. The company they're calling is Unitel, Canada's new long-distance phone company. And the savings just got better. Now we're going to save you up to 45% off your long-distance phone calls with our Close Connections calling plan. Plus, call now and find out how you can earn 1 month of free long-distance calls. So before you call Mom, Dad, that old friend, or that new bundle, call us and start saving a bundle. Just pick up a phone, any phone, and call us at 1-800-578-1313 to get all the details. Keeping in mind these numbers, 45% and 1 month free, can you afford not to call this one? We're Unitel, Canada's new long-distance phone company, and we'll save you money, but not until you call 1-800-578-1313.
We'll move on to Winnipeg Stadium to catch the Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on Friday night at 8:30 kickoff time, Eastern time. The Bombers fresh from a big and impressive victory over the British Columbia Lions. So we'll look forward to seeing Dunnigan and the boys against the Ottawa Roughriders Friday night.
Well, in that last series, Leroy Blue had a sack for the Eskimos, and he'll be a key part of the Eskimos' defense down the stretch. The question is, how long can he go? He had a very painful condition last year called cubitis, which is an inflammation where the leg meets the hip socket. It's usually not a problem in the summertime. It's a problem when it gets cold. Blue says it's 100% healed, and if that's the case, it's a big difference to the Eskimos.
Yeah, Gord, Ron Lancaster was mentioning today when we asked him about that, how is Leroy Blue these days? And he said he is 100% and never playing better. So that certainly is good news for the Edmonton Eskimo defense.
.357 to go, third quarter. Eskimos in front 28-3. 1st and 10 for Damon Allen and his Eskimos rolling along to an impressive showing so far. That's Michael Souls forced back after he gained a couple. Hit by Benson Donaldson.
Takes on the Saskatchewan front 4 and picks up about 4.
Michael Souls and Blake Marshall, boy, there's not a lot of finesse in this running game. They try and run people over. He ran over Ray Bernard, and then there was about 3 or 4 other Saskatchewan guys waiting for him. But this is a running back tandem that likes to deliver as much punishment as they take throughout a game.
Come on, ref, start to hold you. Look at the hold.
Second and long. Allen well over the head of Michael Souls, who seemed to be the closest Eskimo receiver to the football.
So Damon Allen has thrown the ball away a few times tonight, but that's really the first time that he has absolutely missed a receiver. He had Eddie Brown open in the hole in that zone coverage, but for all intents and purposes, he has had a terrific evening. And one of the biggest features you want to do as a quarterback is not beat yourself, and that really has been the case for Allen tonight. Good solid game plan and high percentage passing. He's done a good job with it.
Third down, Edmonton. Harper's kick is high, not deep. Bouncing to Ulmer. Penalty marker is down as Ulmer crosses the 40 to the 41-yard line. Trent Brown leading the Eskimo tacklers.
Harper with a 33-yard punt. Carroll Ulmer, a 4-yard return. Trent Brown picking him up, and a penalty marker down.
Eskimos in front 28-3 here in the third quarter. Edmonton leading 21-0 before the Roughriders got on the board.
No yards on the kicking team, number 43, 5-yard penalty, first down.
How about this for a comparison so far? Austin has some yards as an advantage on Allen, but Allen has been able to engineer 3 touchdown drives.
Yeah, from a production standpoint, Damon Allen has outdueled the league leader, Ken Austin, tonight.
Early movement looked to come from the Eskimo side. 2:37 left till three-quarter time at Commonwealth tonight. Talked about the Roughriders moving on against the Sacramento Gold Miners on Saturday night.
Offside, numbers 91 and 43 on the defense. This will be first down repeated.
The Eskimos' next game will also be against Sacramento.
Riders first and 5, ball at the 45.
First and 5. Saunders gets the call. Larry Ruck was there to meet him along with Willie Pless and Jed Roberts. Another penalty marker down.
Finish things off. Penalty marker down.
Larry Ruck in his 9th CFL season. A former Saskatchewan Roughrider.
Holding, number 61 on the offense. First down repeated.
Saunders has had a productive evening so
first
far,
and 15, ball at the 35
in spite of what
line.
the scoreboard says.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've seen a Regina running back with those kind of numbers rushing. Usually it's 10 receptions, not 10 carries.
First down and 15 after the holding call. Here's Austin. Intended it for Narcisse. There was a mix-up. It is
incomplete. Ed Berry
been
Willie Pless moving back
a good
there as
night
well.
for the Saskatchewan offense. Not very much has gone right.
Well, it really hasn't. Ken Austin had all kinds of time to throw that particular play. His offensive line, good job protecting him, but he and Don Narcisse just didn't have the same reads, and ball incomplete. And as you say, it's pretty typical of the way things have gone for them this evening.
Second and 15 now for the Roughriders at the Saskatchewan 35. Austin off target for Elgar.
And Austin, Ray Elgar incomplete. Melvin Hunter in on the coverage.
So far, a forgettable night for Kent Austin, who came into the game on a real hot streak, hitting on 61.2% of his passes for 883 yards.
Well, he'd been on a roll, but tonight it just really has not gone his way. Seems like he has been taken out of his rhythm, and of course that was what the Edmonton defense so desperately wanted to do, and so far for almost 3 quarters they've accomplished that.
Henry Williams. Not this time. Maurice Crum leading the Saskatchewan tacklers.
We talked about Henry Williams at the beginning of the game. Would he be the difference in this game tonight? And boy, he certainly has. The entire Edmonton team has played well, but 1 touchdown receiving, and of course the big 100-yard punt return for a touchdown, and he has done his best certainly to be the difference in this game.
10, ball at the 34-yard line.
Yeah, I think the punt return has been the difference in this ball game so far, because with an offense like Saskatchewan has, 14 points was not insurmountable, but 21 all of a sudden looked like it, and that's what the Giz gave the Eskimos. Allen intended that for Brown.
Of course, you know, when you look at Gizmo and what he gives to a team, you know, that 100-yard punt return was so elating for not only himself but for his teammates. And on the other side of the coin, those are the kinds of plays that are so deflating for the opposition. I mean, you say, oh, geez, you always consider a punt return against you for a touchdown like a real mistake. It's not something that the other team did so well. It's something that you really screwed up, and it really can have a negative effect for the entire game on some teams, and it looks as though that's what it's doing to Saskatchewan tonight.
2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. Back at the 43. Here's the heat on Damon Allen. He's down. Jurison is there.
Gerald Bayless with the sack. Bobby Jurison.
Bonner was also in the territory.
Brian Bonner in there as well.
Bayless lined up here. He's eventually going to get the sack, but really it's Bobby Jurison coming from the outside. He keeps the contain as Allen really wants to break containment at the end of this pass play. He's not allowed to do so because of Bobby Jurison keeping that outside leverage. There you go. He has to turn back up, and Bayless is waiting for him.
Ulmer looking for a big return for the Roughriders. Markers are down. Ulmer is too, near the 45. Stopped by Brian Walling.
Len Harper with a 53-yard punt.
A 30-yard return, and they'll likely take it back partway.
A little penalty marker down.
10 seconds left in the 3rd quarter at Commonwealth. Eskimos lost by a point last week at Taylor Field.
Illegal block. Number 3 on the receiving team. It's first down.
That's Barry Wilburn, who's playing his first game at cornerback for Saskatchewan. In place of Rico Cartwright, injured last week. Narcisse to the near side. Farthing and Williams flank to the far side of the field. First down, Saskatchewan. A little hitch pass. Saunders made the catch somehow. Then the turnover. The Eskimos come up with the ball. That was a bad play from the start for Saskatchewan.
Well, the Eskimo Double E team is away for non-season ticket holders to save when they make their single game ticket purchases with a $20 Double E team membership in the
It is not error-free football for the Saskatchewan Roughriders at Commonwealth this night. CFL Live continues in a moment.
Hey, Roberto, which is the best pitcher you've ever faced?
The one with McCain punch.
Catch the taste of McCain frozen punch. In orange, berry, and fruit punch. McCain punch is made with real fruit juices to deliver real fruit taste, which makes McCain the punch of champions, like Roberto Alomar.
Catch the taste.
Catch the real fruit taste of McCain punch.
Today's Touchdown to Win winners may receive one of these prizes. From Corning, a 10-piece set of Revere Spectrum cookware in sapphire blue brings both functionality and fashion to your kitchen. The unique design allows you to steam or strain vegetables and pasta with ease. Or the Hoover Power Max, a self-propelled cleaning system that makes vacuuming almost effortless. It leaves your carpets beautifully brushed and groomed, and with the power to handle those stubborn pickups. Ballots available at all participating Safeway stores.
There's the stat story after 3 quarters. The Eskimos with just 2 first downs in the quarter, but as you point out, Leaf, the points, 1 more touchdown, and it's 28-3 as we begin the 4th quarter.
It's hard to believe you can win the quarter 7-0 with only 2 first downs, but that's in fact what they were able to do.
After the turnover, the Eskimos 1st and 10, Saskatchewan 33. Damon Allen still has time to get it away. Michael Souls made the catch. Maurice Crum made the tackle.
I think you're looking at a pretty frustrated front four for the Saskatchewan Roughriders tonight. They just have not been able to get near Damon Allen, and it's not as though he's had terrific protection all night long. There, the protection finally breaks down, and you got some guys coming right up at him, Bayless and them, but he's able just to slip away and finally pick out Michael Souls and make what looks like a lousy play turn into a 3-yard gain.
Sandusky. First down, Eskimos.
They've used that play a number of times tonight, and it's strictly a possession play where Sandusky just kind of loafs off the line of scrimmage and wait till Eddie Brown clears out for him, cuts in the middle, makes the catch, and those are the kind of pass plays that really can keep your drives going. High percentage and easy to complete.
21 yards for Sandusky to set the Eskimos up. First and goal to go. Saskatchewan 9. Lofts it to the end zone. Brown, touchdown. Eddie Brown, that is number 3. And the 4th touchdown toss by Damon Allen.
Yeah, and this is one of the nights where everything just is going absolutely right for the Edmonton Eskimos. There you see Damon Allen laughing with Eddie Brown. Really, Sandusky and Eddie Brown ended up in the same area, and you really can't tell who this ball is being thrown to. And Sandusky is on the fade pattern. Brown fades to the outside. They're both together. But it's Eddie Brown that comes up with the super catch to keep his feet in bounds, and he has his 3rd of the night.
And it's another yellow pick.
3 touchdowns for Eddie Brown. 4 touchdown tosses for Damon Allen. Ron Lancaster's Eskimos are rolling to a 35-3 lead.
You know, they're laughing about that on the sidelines, but I think it was Jim Sandusky who they were looking for, really.
Just came back from the Saskatchewan bench, and they were watching Damon Allen engineer these drives, and one of the riders turned to me and said, he looks like the guy who played here in the late 80s, and that's what the Eskimos were waiting for.
After the turnover, 33 yards in less than 2 minutes. Allen to Eddie Brown. 35-3 on the scoreboard, and we expected a close game. It has been anything but close. The Eskimos have dominated from the opening drive of the ball game.
Yeah, they really have. We expected one of those really super physical contests, lots of hard hitting. There really hasn't been that, and of course I don't think you would have expected early in the 4th quarter that Edmonton would be ahead by 35-3.
Great numbers on Damon Allen. 14 of 19, almost 200 yards. Most importantly, 4 touchdowns. Saunders slipping near the 40-yard line. An 18-yard return.
Just to add to what you were saying, Leaf, yeah, that pass was to Jim Sandusky. In fact, Eddie Brown ran the wrong route. But, hey, when things are going this well, it all works out.
You know, I thought that from looking up here that they were trying to hit Sandusky on the fade. But Eddie Brown steals one away from him, and he has his 3rd of the night.
Kent Austin on first down. Farthing short of the first down. Stopped near the 40 by Willie Pless.
Dropped by Willie Pless.
It's a great play by Dan Farthing. Watch this, how he actually catches the ball and starts running before he's really even made the catch. And, you know, this is not something you teach, but somebody who has great confidence and great catching abilities can do this. Watch there. Catch way out there. He scoops it away from Donnie Wilson and is able to turn back upfield and pick up a few more yards. That is not how you teach it.
2nd down and 3. Saunders gets the call again over the top.
Mike Saunders hurdles the Eskimo line. And a first down for Saskatchewan.
Roughriders have a first down. 11:57 to go, 4th quarter. 11 carries, 57 yards.
And Willie
for
Pless,
Mike Saunders.
Sorry, John. Willie Pless with another exceptional evening. And, you know, it was funny in the opening. We said, if you want to find the football in a game when Edmonton's on defense, you just follow number 35, and he'll take you right to it. His numbers of a year ago when he was the defensive MVP in the CFL.
Saunders nailed behind the line of scrimmage. Malvin Hunter, number 46.
Melvin Hunter here. Watch how he drops into coverage and then comes up and makes a heck of a play. I mean, he's a rookie in this lineup, and he is showing you why he has earned a starting spot in this club. He's able to fight off the block and deliver a tremendous hit on number 32, Mike Saunders.
He's one of 4 new faces in the Eskimo defensive scheme for 1993. Impact player on that play. Austin on 3rd and 13, looking long down the sidelines. Jump ball. Narcisse has it. It'll be a first down for the Roughriders inside the 35. Ed Berry was covering on Narcisse.
And he couldn't have been in a better position. Don Narcisse really picked his pocket. Look at Ed Berry right on the outside hip of Don Narcisse. But Narcisse, who has always been known as a receiver with good jumping ability, goes up and just takes it away.
A 36-yard gain sets the Roughriders up.
Riders first
inside the Eskimo 35. Ball spotted at the 34. 10:30 to go. 4th quarter. It's Edmonton leading 35-3. Austin off target and picked off. Doug Parrish. Hang on, they're ruling no catch by Parrish. Or at least one official is down there.
Well, they think they still have it now. He's just finding out that
Austin's still on the field.
Usually the telltale sign will be how hard will Doug Parrish argue this one? It doesn't seem like he's arguing at all. So he, in fact, obviously didn't catch football.
Second and 10 Roughriders. Eskimo 34. Austin stands in. Intended it for Fairholm. Intercepted this time. Picked off by Glenn Rogers Jr.
They do a nice job picking up the blitz. Mike Saunders gets Willie Pless, but Ken Austin trying to hit Fairholm on the post corner. Glenn Rogers with perfect timing on the inside hip.
Marker is down. Marker is down. The Eskimos were offside.
Nevertheless, a tremendous play by Glenn Rogers to go up and get that interception and cut in behind Fairholm. You wonder why Fairholm's had a tough night. It's been coverage like that by the Edmonton Eskimo secondary that's made him have a miserable night.
2nd and 5 Roughriders just inside the 30. Austin. Elgar inside the 10. Inside the 5. Forced out by Errol Martin, number 41. A 25-yard pickup. Austin to Elgar.
Ray Elgard working one-on-one with number 20, Donnie Wilson, who's the interception leader so far this year. Nothing fancy about this. A break to the outside, and as Elgard moves it upfield, he's able to break the tackle and pick up a few more extra yards. But Donnie Wilson really giving him a lot of room to run that out.
Elgard over 100, 7 receptions for 107 so far. Roughriders finally within striking distance of the goal line. From the 4, Saunders gets halfway to the goal.
Well, there is a lot of time left on the clock, but the Roughriders trail by 32 points. They just want to get some respectability back in this game, and as we talked about earlier, try and carry some momentum with them as they go down to play Sacramento on the weekend. So this touchdown is very important to them.
Saunders is stopped. Larry Ruck. Glenn Rogers Jr. also moving in. A closer look.
Great look at this one. Saunders with the handoff. Watch 47 right in the middle of your screen, up and over the top, and he is the first guy to make contact with Mike Saunders. Glenn Rogers, as you said, John, too, knifed in nicely from that defensive back spot to make the play as well.
So it is 3rd down and goal to go. The Roughriders have one more opportunity. They got him again. The Eskimo defense holds on 3 tries from the 4-yard line.
Watch in the middle. They stuff it all up, let it run, and then I'm going to stop it and show you really what happens. Okay, stop it right here. Glenn Rogers, for the 3rd time in a row, comes in from his outside defensive spot and makes the play. Now, it's stuffed up inside, but Rogers, 3 times in a row, has come in untouched into that backfield, and he is the main reason why the Saskatchewan Roughriders turn it over on the Edmonton 1.
The Roughriders have struggled all night long.
McCain has a great new pizza snack. They call them Pizza Pockets. McCain! Pizza Pockets! The great pizza taste will keep you coming back. McCain! Pizza Pockets!
Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but
McCain! Pizza Pockets!
No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
The 1993 Infinity Tournament Players Championship. Top Canadians Richard Zokol and Dan Halderson, plus an international field, including defending champion Stuart Hendley, challenged the beautiful King Valley Golf Course in King City, Ontario, for the Canadian TPC. The Infinity Tournament Players Championship. Coverage begins Saturday on Real TV, TSN.
The Edmonton Eskimos have dominated the Roughriders from start to this point in the ballgame. It's 35-3. Stay tuned after the game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All. Armor All beautifies and protects your tires. Just spray and walk away.
Tire foam protectant from Armor All. One spray, and even old tires look great. Kind of makes you wish we made car foam. Tire foam from Armor All.
Ron Lancaster has his Eskimos on track. A goal line stand sets Edmonton up with a 1st down at the 1. Blake Marshall gets to the 5.
You know, being down on the Eskimo bench, when they stuffed the Riders on 3rd and goal in a 35-3 football game, you'd think they were tied right now. It's clear down here that the Eskimos really want to send a message to Saskatchewan, and are at this point.
Final meeting of the regular season for these 2 teams. They might meet again in the playoffs, but that's a long way from now. The Eskimos will have bragging rights for quite some time. At 35-3, they have the lead. 7:17 to play. Damon Allen continues his impressive plays out near the 20. Sliding safely there.
Damon Allen slides in safe at the 19-yard line.
Damon Allen's made some great decisions tonight on when to run with the football. Let it run here. We'll just stop it. Watch the opening. Okay, here's the lane right there. Here he comes, and watch Bernard miss the tackle. Damon Allen just freezes him in his footsteps, and this is why he has been selective tonight with his running, but whenever he has done it, he has really got some positive yardage out of it. And boy, does that ever give your club a lift when the quarterback makes good decisions and keeps up picking 1st downs time and time again.
13 yards for Damon Allen, who is the injured Eskimo on the play. 9 carries for 72 yards, and we may see the ace reliever into the game now. Ricky Foggy might just be back when we are on the CFL Live.
You won't believe it. Me and Barbara were out fishing. There was a bump on the line. We reeled it up. It was one sorry-looking Coleman lantern. There was even a crab living in it. But just for fun, I cleaned it up and gave it a try. You know what? The thing lit up on the first match. You've got to be kidding.
Why not light up your life this summer with a whole range of unbelievably tough Coleman products?
Somebody's going to see this on TV and say, hey, that's my lantern. Not anymore.
Kind of tough to see what happens to Damon Allen here. Vincent Donaldson comes across, and you know, they do make contact, but maybe Damon Allen actually hurt himself when he fell on the football as he was going down on that slide.
Off under his own power. And an evening that may be over for Damon Allen right now, but certainly a lot of success in the initial moments of this game. He drove the Eskimos for 87 yards, one touchdown, 77 yards in another for a 14-0 lead. Enter Tom Mickey now, in relief of Damon Allen with 6:45 to go, and Edmonton comfortably in front of the Saskatchewan Roughriders at 35-3. Brantley in on the tackle.
Tom Mickey has not had a great deal of playing time in the first couple of games this year. In fact, only thrown one pass coming into tonight's ball game. I suspect with 2nd and 10, you'll see his first throw or second throw of the season right here.
Sandusky comes to the near side. Henry Williams to the far side of the field. Where on Damon Allen is, he's not seriously hurt. He just got stepped on, but he may rest a while. With a nice comfortable lead. Here's Sandusky. Got it behind. Nice catch. Ray Bernard the tackle.
17-yard gain on the play.
They've had great success with that quick post to Jim Sandusky tonight. Lets Eddie Brown clear out for him and comes underneath the coverage. In fact, the corner, Barry Wilburn, actually overran the play, and Sandusky with some tremendous hands makes a lovely catch. And Tom Mickey with his second completion of the season. He's now 2 for 2. He's on a roll.
18 yards for Sandusky on the toss from Tom Mickey. Markers are down. Brian Walling.
Brought down by Maurice Crum.
Walling got out across the 40 to the 41 for a 5-yard gain. Damon Allen will likely sit out the rest of this evening. Apparently he's okay. The numbers would say he'll be smiling for a couple of days now. 14 of 19, almost 200 yards. Most importantly, 4 touchdowns. Very impressive drives. And he ran the ball effectively.
I think that's one of the keys for him, too. His running was very selective, but of course, when he did it, he was really effective with it. I think this is really a serious storyline of the game tonight, the rushing of Edmonton.
Michael
Souls carried the ball, lost it there, but the penalty, or the whistle had gone. Maurice Crum on the tackle for Saskatchewan.
Maurice Crum with the original penetration. Ray Bernard there to finish things off.
Ryder defense has done an outstanding job on the Saskatchewan offense, shutting down Kent Austin most of the way.
Yeah. Well, you keep the ball on the ground for 145 yards. You know, you really accomplish so much. You get the confidence in your running game, and you keep Austin away from the football. You get the best of both worlds.
Gain of 6. Walling gets the call again on 2nd and 4. He lost at least a yard there. Hit by Gerald Bayless.
Gerald Bayless, Stu Hill, and Sean Brantley in on the tackle.
Four minutes and 20 seconds to go in the 4th quarter.
Loss of a couple on the play. 3rd and 4 from the 41.
High kick by Harper. Markers down. Homer did a lot of dancing, but only picked up 7 yards on the return. The Roughriders have struggled all night against the hometown Eskimos at Commonwealth. Heading into the final 4 minutes. The Eskimos leading 35-3 on the CFL Live.
Introducing Formula 7 Industrial Strength Degreaser and Cleaner. We'll demonstrate the cleaning power of Formula 7. Crankcase oil, almost impossible to clean from vinyl or leather. Formula 7 goes to work and in minutes oil wipes clean. Isn't that amazing? Formula 7, ideal for white wall tires and hubcaps. Just spray and wash. No scrubbing, no rubbing. A corroded battery and filthy greasy engine costs up to $30 to clean. Apply Formula 7. Wash down with hose. For only a few pennies, your battery and engine are sparkling clean. Runners stained with grass, grime, and tar. Don't throw them out. Just spray and wipe clean. Stubborn stains are gone. Your lawnmower, greasy, grimy, and dirty. Simply apply Formula 7, hose down, presto. In a few minutes, your lawnmower is clean and shiny. Also ask for Easy Dry. Comes with flexible head, contours to any surface. Wipe and dry your car in 10 minutes or less. Easy Dry, Formula 7, both from K-Tel. Available at Woolco, Woolworth, Kresge, Kmart, participating Canadian Tire, McLeod True Value, Co-op stores, Value Master, Home Hardware.
It has not been a good night for Kent Austin. The Rough Rider offense could not get on track. The numbers there, 241 yards. Still over 50% in passing, but not Kent Austin numbers. And when Kent Austin is off the mark, the Rough Rider offense obviously doesn't click.
Yeah, I would say he would tell you if he's not over 300 yards in a game passing, it is a tremendous disappointment. So he will give way to Warren Jones, who is his backup, and he is yet to throw a pass in 1993.
Goose eggs are up for Jones. He's 0 for 0.
I think it's a good move by Donnie Matthews. You know, they've got a tough schedule going to Sacramento for a game Saturday night. And to give Warren Jones some playing time now, why not? Let Ken Austin have a rest and try and regroup and get ready for a tough game that they're going to have down south of the border.
Warren Jones at the control for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He was a backup quarterback for 3 years with the Eskimos from the University of Hawaii in his 5th CFL season. Jones uses the shotgun. And it's been that kind of a night for Jeff Fairholm. Jones underthrew him. Fairholm has not caught the football tonight.
It's funny, that was huge in the defensive game plan for Edmonton. Try and shut down Jeff Fairholm if possible, and usually you're never able to do that, but tonight they have been able to do so totally.
Second and 10, Rough Riders from the 15. Jones to his right this time. Firing on the run, he'll have a first down up near the 35. Dan Murphy
Warren
to tackle.
Jones across the green finds Byron Williams. Dan Murphy
Byron Williams.
18-yard gain on the play. First down for the
Jeff
Riders.
Fairholm averaged 32 yards per catch coming into tonight's game. A couple of long touchdowns, one of 64, the other of 75. And zeros. First down, Saskatchewan. 3:03 to go, fourth quarter. The Eskimos have this one in the bag. Fairholm's first catch of the night, so he's not shut out. Across the 50, stopped by Doug Parrish.
He must have seen the graphic we just put up. Said, I gotta quit letting them put up goose eggs for me. I'm going to get one, and we'll take care of that in a hurry.
Yeah, I think he knew exactly where he stood. Fairholm has his first of the night, but it's too far to battle back for the Saskatchewan Roughriders now. Trailing by 32 at 35-3. This is the CFL Live.
McCain has a great new pizza snack. They call them pizza pockets. McCain pizza pockets. The great pizza taste will keep you coming back. McCain pizza pockets.
Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but
McCain pizza pockets.
No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
It's the media guy.
We'll move on to Winnipeg Stadium for an Eastern Division clash between the Ottawa Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Friday night, 8:30 Eastern. Join us for that. Both teams at 1-1. Chasing the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Bombers fresh off a big victory over the Lions.
That's good for you. You get home, go home, say hi to Mom and Dad.
Say hi to Bob, sure.
Well, for Ron Lancaster, a great night tonight. You know, he was worried today as we chatted about his offense. I mean, obviously the equipment is there. They have the personnel, but when would they begin to put it together? And That was much talked about. General Manager Hugh Campbell stated the same thing in the paper this morning, but put all those fears to rest. The offense has performed admirably tonight. I think Ron Lancaster would be thrilled with the way they performed, and his defense as well. They came in with a good plan, put 6 defensive backs in there and try and take away some of Austin's weapons. He was able to do that perfectly.
Saskatchewan 1st and 10 with 2:41 to go, 4th quarter. This is Jones at quarterback. Running, he lost the ball going out of bounds, but it'll be Saskatchewan retaining possession. Jed Roberts.
Chased by a host of Eskimos. Benny Goods in on the action.
Forced Jones out. The gain is 4 yards.
Roberts. Gain of 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6 Riders.
Rough Riders were down 21-0 before they even got on the scoreboard in this one tonight. Damon Allen drove the Eskimos for 2 first-quarter touchdowns, and then Henry Williams returned the punt 100 yards to make it 21-0. Jones one-hopped that one for Jeff Fairholm.
Warren Jones looking for Jeff Fairholm, incomplete. Damian Lyons.
Really, when you don't get a lot of playing time, it's tough to come into a game like this and be absolutely sharp. And obviously, that was a pass that Warren Jones, under normal circumstances, would probably complete. He would complete that in practice. But when you get in the game, everything's different. Everything's a little quicker. He was a little too eager on that one and just simply underthrew Fairholm.
Third down and 6, and the Rough Riders take a crack at it anyway. Fairholm makes the catch for the first down at the 45. Melvin Hunter, the tackle on Fairholm. 2:21 to go. Saskatchewan trailing 35-3.
This is great, actually, for Warren Jones to get a little playing time and a little experience, because I can't think of a quarterback in the league other than maybe Doug Flutie that you would want to be the understudy to, because if for Kent Austin, yeah, you just won't get any playing time playing behind him.
First down, Rough Riders. Jones has Elgard. Elgard a first down inside the 30. Stopped by Larry Ruck.
15-yard gain. Larry Ruck gets the tackle.
Ray Elgard 15 yards on that reception. 8 catches on the night.
So even though the Rough Riders are having a dismal night, Elgard still his usual standards.
Saunders has another first down for the Rough Riders with 1:43 on the clock. Stopped by Tony Woods.
Down by Tony Woods with the shoestring tackle. Gain of 11 on the play and a first down for the Riders.
11 yards for Saunders on the previous play. First down, Saskatchewan, just inside the Eskimo 20-yard line. They haven't made it to the end zone so far tonight. Jones well behind the intended receiver, Jeff Fairholm.
Well, I think you have to just give a huge amount of credit to the Edmonton secondary tonight. They've come in with a scheme where they would, put some pressure on those receivers by playing them rather tight with a little help in behind from Dan Murphy all evening long, and they have really accomplished that. They've thrown the receivers out of their rhythm. And, I think for Saskatchewan here, as we wind this game down, pretty important for them to try and get a score here. Just leave Commonwealth Stadium with some sort of better feeling than they have right now, and try and take that on the road with them to Sacramento.
2nd and 10. Jones sees an opening. It closes up rather quickly. He's to the 15 and down there. Leroy Blue and Larry Ruck stopping Jones there.
Well, you look at the defense tonight, too, and on the front 7, how many times have we mentioned Larry Ruck and Willie Pless? It seems like every game you always do from an Edmonton standpoint. Those are the 2 players you end up talking about throughout the course of the evening the most.
1:15 to go. The Riders have not made it to the Eskimo end zone and go gambling one more time. 3rd down, 6 to go. Jones stands in. He can't get it away. That'll count for another turnover. Benny Goods leading the charge. Willie Pless was not far behind. And it's been that kind of a night for Don Matthews and his Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, here you see how a sack is created. Here comes Pless up the middle and got over top of Mike Anderson. They take this. Vida goes this way, and whoa! Here comes Benny Goods up the gut. And there's nobody to pick him up. Mike Anderson cannot make the right choice there if he doesn't get help from his right guard, Paul Vida. Of course, Warren Jones pays the price on that one.
1:03 to go. The Eskimos get it right back. Tom Mickey handing off to Brian Walling. Damon Allen was the starting quarterback for Edmonton and provided enough offense for the Eskimos to salt this one away rather early tonight. 7 turnovers by the Eskimo defense.
It's one of these games, if you're a Saskatchewan Roughrider, you're not going to look forward to watching the film tomorrow.
No.
Really hoping there's mechanical problems.
Good fake. Tom Mickey stopped by Maurice Crum.
Around the 40-yard line and a first down for the Eskimos.
Boy, Edmonton has had a lot of good things go their way tonight. Eddie Brown caught a touchdown when the ball wasn't even being thrown to him. And when Tom Mickey, who is not noted for his running ability, beats you to the outside and picks up a first down, you know either on defense you're not having a good night or on offense it's your night to remember.
Time to wrap this thing up for the Edmonton Eskimos. A 35-3 victory over the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And really the rematch has fizzled quite a bit on the turf at Commonwealth Stadium. Last week a 1-point win for Saskatchewan. Tonight it has been all Edmonton. 160 yards along the ground, a big part of the Eskimos' success. Tom Mickey wraps things up. The Eskimos improve to 2-1. Ron Lancaster gets his second win of the 1993 CFL season. Should be proud of his football team, both sides of the ball.
Well, I think the opening drive for them really set the tone of the game. They were struggling on offense, and Damon Allen and his offense took the opening kickoff, drove it all the way downfield, capped it off with the 20-yard pass reception by Henry Williams. But to me, for a team that had struggled and taken some criticism, initially, right off the bat, they took all the heat off themselves. They had the confidence, and boy, did they ever carry it through for an entire 60 minutes. I mean, that's what you always look for in a game. Can we play 60 minutes? Well, I think the Edmonton Eskimos answered that question definitely tonight in the affirmative.
60 minutes of football. Damon Allen led the way and engineered 2 first-quarter drives for touchdowns. And realistically, when you look at it, that's all the Eskimos needed this night. Gord?
And we're with Damon Allen. Tell us, first of all, about how important it was to put together that opening drive into the wind and really set the tone.
Well, it was really important for me in our offense because we wanted to get something established. We wanted to control the ball, but also the clock, too. And it was fantastic to come out opening drive and move the ball right down and score. And also the following drive after that, we went up a 14-0 lead. Saskatchewan's tough, so you got to put points on the board, and our defense played so well, and it was a total team effort.
A lot of people talk about how complicated an Adam Rita offense is. Is this a case of it just coming together, and we'll see more of this now?
Well, as far as the complications, that was the technology of calling things, and it was so difficult for me because I was so used to calling plays over the last 8 years pretty much the same way, and the whole philosophy of calling plays is a little different, so it took me a little time, but I was a little more comfortable and confident coming this time around and felt comfortable in calling plays and executing each play. So I guess it's coming together, especially for my situation. It's really coming together, and I really felt comfortable.
Eddie Brown has a big night with 3 touchdowns. We're going to take a look at his second. Tell us what Eddie Brown adds to this offense.
Well, basically, he has the ability to catch the ball and run with it. And it basically was just a short pass, and I believe the guy slipped, and he made a couple of moves and just ran a touchdown. And you know, we got that kind of players on our football team that can make short passes into big plays, and it worked tonight. And basically, we wanted to just take what they give us, and basically they gave us a lot of short passes. We wanted to control the ball, and it worked out today.
Damon, a lot of people talked about the three-quarterback situation here in Edmonton. How much pressure is there on you to perform, especially in the first half, knowing that there's guys in the bullpen?
Well, over the last 2 weeks, I can understand the change because I really didn't play as well as I can, and it was really big tonight for me to come out and move the football. And if I'm able to do that the whole year, I think I'll be able to play many quarters.
Damon, thanks very much for talking to us. Congratulations on a great one tonight.
Thanks a lot, Gord. I appreciate it.
Damon Allen gets the job done tonight, and the Eskimos thump the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We're back with more on the CFL Live in just a moment.
Play Touchdown to Win at Safeway. For every touchdown scored during CFL telecasts on TSN, you could win one of these prizes: a Corning Spectrum cookware set, a wall back massager and cordless shaver, a Thermos 4-piece gift pack, or Hoover's Power Max cleaning system. Or win a trip for two to Puerto Vallarta, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, a world of vacations. To enter, look for these participating products: Kraft Slices or Maxwell House ground coffee. Touchdown to Win. Another reason we're today's better way.
Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All. Another great run by the Giz. 14-0 Edmonton, as Henry Williams raced 100 yards for his second punt return touchdown of the season. Little doubt about the outcome after the 100-yard return by the Giz. A cash donation to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of coaches in amateur sport will be made on behalf of TSN and Armor All. Armor All beautifies and protects your tires. Just spray and walk away. Here again, Gord Miller.
With Willie Pless, leader of an Eskimo defense that was nothing short of awesome tonight, the best defensive performance this team's turned in about 6 years. Willie, how do you explain what happened last week and then this week?
Well, I think the main difference is, as you could tell, our defense didn't give up big plays. We let them take the ball the whole length of the field, and hopefully they made mistakes, in which they did. And that was the main difference, as you can see last week, to get 2 big plays and got the 2 touchdowns.
We were talking during the telecast about the fact that this was the final regular season game between these two teams. How important was it to you to send a message to them?
Well, it's very important to the fact that they won the first game, and with a back-to-back series, we have to win one of the 2 games, and it was a very important game for us. It was a big game defensively. We came up with the plays. Offensively, they made the plays, made touchdowns, kept us off the field. It was a great game.
Now, at 35-3, normally goal line stands are not major parts of the game, yet the bench was on its feet, the crowd was on its feet. Tell us about what happened down here when Saskatchewan was 3rd and goal.
Well, it's very simple. As you could tell, once it rolled out, the defensive line did a great job getting penetration, and he had Rogers coming off the end untouched, have someone flying over top like a madman, and I think that was the main difference, that we had great penetration from the front 4 guys.
That was you flying over the top like a madman. But the defense is fired up at that point, and I wonder, at that point, what are you telling each other? I mean, it's 35-3. That touchdown is not going to break you.
Well, we want to go into the locker room with just 3 on the scoreboard. That was important to us. Although we bent a little bit, we didn't break.
You got Sacramento next. Looking forward to that challenge?
It's going to be a big challenge for us. They did a good job against Calgary last week, and we're going to look forward to that game.
Willie, thanks very much. Congratulations on a great performance.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's go up to John Wells.
Damon Allen set the tone for this Eskimo victory with 2 scoring drives of significant importance in the opening quarter.
Well, I think he really did. His interview with Gord Miller was imperative that they get off to a good start. The opening drive really built their confidence up because they had been struggling. But, you know, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Edmonton's effort tonight, but Saskatchewan really did not come in prepared to play tonight. I don't know whether they were looking ahead to Saturday night in Sacramento, but it really wasn't one of their better efforts, and I think they'd be the first to say, hey, Edmonton played well, but boy, we stunk.
I think things were going extremely well for the Eskimos from the outset, as we pointed out. The third touchdown catch of the night by Eddie Brown, I guess, pointed things out, because that was a touchdown for Brown, but the pass was really intended for Sandusky.
Yeah, you know, when things, you're having a good night and things are going your way, it seems like anything you do becomes a great play. So Eddie Brown took one away from Sandusky, and that was kind of the way things went for Edmonton.
Yeah, the rematch didn't really pan out for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They weren't in this one at Commonwealth tonight, as the Eskimos stormed out in front to an early lead and finished with a 35-3 victory on the CFL Live.
In just 6 months, over 250,000 Canadians have called us to find out how they could save on their long-distance phone calls. The company they're calling is Unitel, Canada's new long-distance phone company. And the savings just got better. Now we're going to save you up to 45% off your long-distance phone calls with our Close Connections calling plan. Plus, call now and find out how you can earn 1 month of free long-distance calls. So before you call Mom, Dad, that old friend, or that new bundle, call us and start saving a bundle. Just pick up a phone, any phone, and call us at 1-800-578-1313 to get all the details. Keeping in mind these numbers, 45% and 1 month free, can you afford not to call this one? We're Unitel, Canada's new long-distance phone company, and we'll save you money, but not until you call 1-800-578-1313.
Welcome back to Edmonton as the sun sets on the prairies. The Eskimos thump the Saskatchewan Roughriders here at Commonwealth Stadium, serving notice that the Eskimos will once again be a force to be reckoned with in the Western Division of the CFL. Interestingly enough, both Edmonton and Saskatchewan have their next game against the Sacramento Gold Miners. Saskatchewan will be on its way there momentarily. Edmonton gets them next week, and the Gold Miners, most people feel, have improved dramatically in their first 3 weeks in the Canadian Football League, and by mid-season should be a force to be reckoned with themselves. Here are the standings right now in the CFL's Western Division, with Calgary at 2-0, BC and Edmonton both at 2-1, and Saskatchewan with the loss falls to 1-2. 4 good teams fighting for 3 playoff spots, it looks like, right now. We're back with more on the CFL Live from Edmonton in just a moment.
Just past the halfway point of this year's $1 Million Baseball Magic Contest, and we've already awarded over 350 lucky A&P and Dominion shoppers with great prizes. And don't forget, you could also win a trip for 2 to Walt Disney World Resort, courtesy of Canadian Holidays, a World of Vacations. To enter, stop by your local A&P or Dominion, fill out a ballot, attach it to a proof of purchase from any participating product, and deposit in the ballot box. $1 Million Baseball Magic, exclusively at A&P and Dominion.
It took him a while to figure it out. There's no point looking for the important things in life on a map. So before he found that little hideaway at the end of an unmarked road, Brad found himself in an Explorer, the best-selling sport utility in Canada.
The CFL Live on TSN has been brought to you by Pepsi. Be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Mark's Work Warehouse, clothes that work. Next up, we're off to Winnipeg to see the Blue Bombers take on the Ottawa Roughriders in a meeting of 2 great defenses Friday, July 23rd at 8:30 Eastern Time here on the CFL Live. Once again, the final score from Edmonton, the Eskimos 35, the Saskatchewan Roughriders 3. For John Wells, Lee Pedersen, and all of us at TSN, I'm Gord Miller. Good night from Commonwealth Stadium.
Today, the LPGA Elite tee off on TSN. Defending champion Patty Sheehan heads the field for the 1993 U.S. Women's Open. Enjoy first round coverage at noon and 4 o'clock Eastern only on Real TV, TSN.